Welcome to the Cam and Strick podcast, episode number 173, baby, presented by Hair Club.
Feel like shit.
Well, listen, I won some money last night, so I'm actually feeling pretty good right
20
now.
bucks?
I feel pretty good. Put some money down, baby, on a couple of different things. Prop bets, I don't really get into those.
You didn't throw
But
money
I won
down
a lot
shit.
of money, actually, on a number of different things that I put my money on last night.
You won a lot of money on a bunch of
A
things
lot of
you
money.
put your money on?
Yeah,
like what?
Okay, but now I can't figure it out. I don't want to mention who the... what's the name
Dude,
of the
don't gamble.
the
You're
website?
not a fucking gambler.
No,
Dude.
listen.
You don't know what the fuck
I
you're
can see
talking
how
about.
people get addicted to it.
You don't know what
when
you're
you have
doing.
success right off the bat like that.
You don't know what you're doing.
Like I did. Well, people can get addicted very quickly, so I got to be careful with that. But here's the problem: I can't figure out how to put the money back in my account. Now, how
you don't
do
know
I
what
do
the
that?
fuck. I don't know. I don't gamble. I don't gamble. I spend money on all kinds of
Would
shit.
you gamble on the color of the Gatorade?
No, I don't gamble on anything,
People
dude.
do
I'm
that.
I'm not a good gambler. I don't think about it enough.
The coin toss.
I don't like going
the coin toss.
I don't like going to casinos. I think casinos are depressing. I think casinos, you walk in there, there's everybody smoking darts. There's fucking dipshits cruising around. It's just depressing at times for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like
Do
gambling.
you think like the lottery companies and these casino companies, they prey on the poor people?
Yeah, man. Dude,
Well,
listen,
I'm just telling you the way it goes down. You know how it works
Andy,
economically. I'm just
motherfucker,
telling you.
I'm from fucking the Midwest, hardcore Eureka, fucking Jefferson County. I go to goddamn gas stations,
Mm-hmm.
and these dudes are lining up out the wazoo, and they pay for lottery tickets with their fucking change. So I see that shit.
With their change.
Yeah, where they fucking pay change, and it's such a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
and
you said that before. I don't
hate
know
it.
what you're talking about.
Because you don't live out
kind of
there.
gas station
You
you're
don't
going
live out.
to.
You live in fucking wealthy part of Fuckville right here, and they don't do that shit. But out there in fucking good old Boyville,
not true.
Man, they go and they pay. They buy these. They'll be like, give me that 13. No, not 13. I want a 12.
Can I
on
get
the
a
scratch
pick? Can
off.
I get a pick
Give me
forward?
give me the Lucky Charm 4. No, never mind. I want the 5. No, it's all the same, dumb fuck.
Well.
And then he gets changed, and I'm like, God damn it. So I don't know where we're going with
You
this.
play
but
the lotto?
No, dude.
I played it several times. In fact, did I tell
don't
you
do
the
any
one
of that.
time that I was driving and we stopped for a lottery ticket? I always tell the wife, I say, there's certain towns and certain areas where you buy your lottery tickets. Never buy it in a nice area,
Dumb.
always in a small town. We were driving to Colorado. We stopped in Canorado. You ever heard of Canorado?
No.
Well, it's on the border of Kansas and Colorado. It's a town called
Yeah, the
Canorado.
shittiest part of Colorado possible.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, eastern Colorado is like Kansas, homie.
It is Kansas, basically, with a divided line in there. But we stopped in, and I got like the first 4 numbers right. And I was like losing my mind. I was like, what? Bang, 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 bang. First 4, 100% right. Then I fell off.
And you fell off, and
But I
that's
think
all
you
that
can
matters.
still win like $1 million with
No,
the
you
first
can't.
4 or
I
something.
don't think
like
you
that.
can, homie.
I don't know those rules.
I don't gamble, but man, last night was cool, dude. Like, we're in the United States here, obviously. Super Bowl's the biggest thing going on. That was a fucking cool game. I like that Joe Burrow. The Rams are cool. And Indy and I are from St. Louis, and everybody's so like anti-Kroenke, and I get that. He's a fucking whatever, but I don't blame him. Like, get the fuck out of St. Louis and go to L.A. and build a $5 billion. That stadium looked sick. It looked badass. That whole area looked badass. I don't blame Kroenke for doing it. Everybody's bitching and moaning in St. Louis. Blah, 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 blah. I like the Rammies, man. I like their fucking uniforms. I like Aaron.
I like
Donald.
the
They
uniforms.
treated Kate great when she cheered for him. I like the fucking
I'm
team.
not a big. It's not about Kroenke for me as much as I don't like him because I don't like the Kroenke. You know.
Yeah, he's a stiff,
but
man.
It's the president, Kevin Denmoff. I'm not a big fan of his. The way he kind of like was a little bit of a snake.
He was a snake. I get
His
that.
daddy got him the job. Listen, I'm not anti
where you're going with
people
this.
whose dads get them the
I
job.
know where you're going with this.
Okay, just understand that.
Yeah,
but you know, at the end of the day, when you get the job because of your daddy,
I denounce you a little bit.
a little
I'm sorry.
bit.
I denounce
but
you a
there's
little
some,
bit.
I mean, real qualified people. I'll give you Joe Buck as an example. He's qualified. Listen, the guy's a hell of a broadcaster. Whatever.
man. Yeah,
okay,
he's a good
but
guy, man.
you know, had the inside
a good guy.
edge. But
Yeah.
I don't watch him and be like, oh, you only got the job because of your dad. You know,
Nah.
just because your dad's
No,
a
but-
legend or a Hall
No,
of
but
Famer
we know
doesn't mean
some-
you shouldn't get the job.
No, but we know some dudes, though.
Kenny Albert,
Mm-hmm.
his dad is Marv Albert. You ever heard of Marv Albert?
Yeah, man.
You know who Marv is?
Yeah, I mean,
Dude, you
kinda.
played in Jersey. You need to know Marv. He's
Man,
like
I
a
do.
legend in New York. You know that.
Yeah, I know. And Kenny Albert's fucking awesome.
Yeah. If you're Kenny Albert or if you're Joe Buck and you grow up in the business, you've got an inside edge, much like a guy like Matthew Tkachuk has when his dad is Keith Tkachuk.
Yeah,
and
man.
you know what? there's a reason why they're good at what they do. They grew up around it, and they had some great teachers in-house.
That's how I got lucky when I was a kid. My dad was a waterproofer, and that's why I made the...
You would have been a hell of a waterproofer.
That's why I got into hockey, because I'm like, I don't want to slang around that fucking 150-pound goddamn spraying tar in 110-degree weather with no shirt on. He blew himself up one time with tar because he lit a thing, and it blew... Like, fucking fuck that. And I'm like, I ain't doing this. And you know what? That got me into hockey, man. So inadvertently, it did happen.
Okay, so listen. So here's my point. So when you're a player, you still have to be good enough. Right?
Damn right.
Like, if your dad is Mario Lemieux, but you're not good at hockey, or Wayne Gretzky, or you're not good at hockey, you're not making it to the NHL.
You'll play AAA.
They may draft you or something.
They might draft you for like shits and giggles.
7th round or something.
No doubt.
Okay, we've seen that happen. But you're not making it. And I will say, to an extent, maybe a lesser extent, but if you're a broadcaster, you may get an opportunity that and get, chances that other people wouldn't get. But if you're not good, you're still not going to get the job.
Yeah, you'll still get special treatment you'll still get some sort of special. If you're okay, you might get a job to where you should be.
If
really
you're
good.
A legend, your kids will have an in.
You'll have an in. Like, meaning like he might be okay, and there's another dude better than him, but he's got the name. Like, he'll get that. I get that.
Yeah.
And then,
especially if there's a connection with that franchise.
Sorry, your daddy's good, man. And maybe they want your name, your legacy attached to something. I don't know.
Yeah. But all I'm saying is I never had
Who
that.
are you talking about here? Because I know there's like, are you hinting at somebody? Where we
Kevin Demoff.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
The president of the Rams. Yeah. His dad was like a big-time sports agent forever. Represented all those big-time quarterbacks from the 1983 draft. Dan Marino, John Kelly, John Elway, all those guys.
Yeah.
No, so he had the inside in at a young age to get a job in a front office.
Man,
and
listen,
now he's the president.
I don't give a fuck.
So,
Look, here's what I look at. What'd you guys put on the field to entertain me? You put a fucking badass goddamn show together. You get a quarterback. You got fucking Aaron Donald, who's the best athlete going besides LeBron James. You got all these dudes, man.
LeBron had a lot of... Listen, I like LeBron's chains.
There.
I like his chains that he had on. I'd wear those.
He's a fucking...
Some diamond necklaces.
So anyway, then you get Cooper Kupp. You got this little white boy just fucking finding ways to get open when OBJ goes down with $200,000 cleats on. Like, they're fun to watch. Their uniforms look sick tough. I like fucking Joe Burrow. Their fucking unis look badass. The fucking place looks awesome. Although there's no buzz around. Like, when they're down in Tampa and shit, like, the people are partying no one's really doing much there. But, dude, it seemed like a cool scene. I don't know, man. I was entertained all night. The halftime show was... Dude, I'm telling you. Look, I'm not a big rap guy, as we all know. I'm not a country guy either.
I am.
Yeah. You and your little nerd boys and your little BMW convertible. Listen to fucking gangster rap. Everybody was making fun of you. But
I will do some Dr. Dre and Snoop for you.
I like D. Dre and I like Snoop. Snoop's hitting that fucking blunt.
Icons,
he's going out there. Eminem's... Fuck is it?
You didn't like him because he kneeled or what?
Whatever with that. His fake,
I didn't know what he was doing. I didn't
beard.
think of it.
How's your beard so dark all of a sudden?
What do you mean?
Why is your beard so
you
fucking
think it's
dark?
Fake?
He's just a tool. He's too... Why are you grumpy all the time? You know what? Machine Gun Kelly, he's whatever too, but you know what? Machine Gun Kelly ripped him in that rap song. Like, you're fucking rich and you're grumpy. I hate wealthy people that are fucking grumpy.
You know about the little squabble going on between Machine Gun Kelly and Eminem? You know about this?
3-hour radio
like,
show
what is it? Like, what's the deal?
They're just two dudes that look alike that fucking are in a rap game and they're just chirping each other.
Machine Gun Kelly's a rapper?
He was.
Well, when? He needs to start doing that again because he was terrible during the All-Star game. Dude, I know the rap game. I don't listen to like the rappers that are on like 107.7.
Man, actually, listen,
the mainstream.
We
guys.
saw Machine Gun Kelly at the All-Star game. I hated every fucking song. He's dressed in pink. He's a teeny bop. He did teeny pop little. I love my girlfriend, lovey, lovey, love, love. And I thought he was gonna be like kind of hardcore because I remember him ripping. He had that cool music video where he's fucking eating cereal and this like cool thing. He's fucking bashing Eminem like, what's up, motherfucker? You're an old motherfucker and you're grumpy all the fucking time. Like, da-da-da. He just was cool. And then now he's like, I am going to be a pop star. Pop, pop, pop. And I'm like, fuck you.
Well,
so anyway.
Well, whatever works.
Well, I'm just saying.
Eminem,
he's dyeing his beard. He's just
let me just say this about Eminem because I can understand that. Yeah, he's grumpy and whatever. I don't get caught up in that. He doesn't like his mom, apparently, right?
But you know what? Who cares?
Okay, so I don't get caught up. But I will say this: he's damn talented, man.
Yes, Andy.
He is. He's way more talented than Machine Gun Kelly.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, at least Machine Gun Kelly kind of turned a new leaf and is doing teeny bop, like kind of like alternative rock, which is like my worst. I fucking cannot stand. You know, I'd rather him be like a heavy metal motherfucker. But
well, dude, just be who you are. You think Eminem's going to turn into that? Like, I'm not like a die. Listen, I don't want to defend Eminem too much, but I'm just saying he's talented.
He's very talented. Yeah, I'm not disputing that.
He's not nerdy like these other guys, dude. Let me just put it to you this way, Dr.
Well, you
Dre,
know about that, so tell me what nerdy
Dre
means.
Is like saying, "Hey, dude, you come and perform with us."
Yeah, DJ
at halftime at the Super Bowl. There's something to be said for that.
Well, Eminem runs the show still there too. Like
Dre produced him back in the day.
Yeah, but like
founded him.
Yeah, but right now I think that they're all kind of 1, 2, 3. They're all up top, so they all no one's controlling anybody. But when Dre and Snoop went up there, man, they're just like old school fucking early 2000s, right up our alley, Andy. That's
2000s, dude. NWA back in the 90s.
Man,
dude,
I'm saying the
late
shit that
80s.
they sung was the 2000 nostalgic, that kind of our age of people, Andy.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I know he did the shit, but they didn't sing any of that. Mm-hmm. They did the old school, like Up in Smoke or whatever it was.
And they're in their 50s, man. I mean,
they look good,
they're
man.
in their 50s. Dre's like a billionaire.
Yeah. Oh, he got a divorce.
Well, he had to pay out a lot.
But those beats, man, he made a ton of money off them beats.
But very few guys can remain cool over the years. Snoop Dogg's that one guy who can do it, man.
Fucking right. And he's cool as shit. And he's not grumpy.
No.
And he doesn't get into political shit.
No.
He's just fucking smoking. He fucking chills. He goes to hockey games.
He'll get into some political stuff, man.
Yeah,
You've seen his videos he puts out. Instagram
dude,
and stuff.
He's pretty even keel when it comes to, in my opinion. And I kind of like value. I don't want to shove it in my face. Like,
no, you're right. He's not.
I think he's like
he
pretty
doesn't
good.
overdo it. Is what
That's
you're
right.
saying.
Yeah, no,
but he will do it.
Yeah, but he's not. I balance everything. Like, are you shoving shit in my face? Like, I get the premise.
No, but
Just
what
don't
he
shove
does,
shit in my
he
face.
still protects his community
Which
when
he
necessary.
should.
You know what
Absolutely,
I'm
no
saying?
doubt. I get what you're saying with that, Andy.
Saying?
But he's cool. He'll go to hockey games. He's always funny. He'll get chirped.
Mm-hmm.
He's just cool, man. And I like him. I like D. Dre, dude. And by the way, Dr. Dre, before all the NWO bullshit. NWA, whatever. NWO, is that the wrestling? So he was like a prancer dancer. D. Dre was. Okay. He was like a little prancer.
Did you watch the movie Straight Out of the Compton? Did you see the movie?
Nah.
Oh, you'd like it.
I saw
it's like the history of NWA.
No, I watched documentaries
like
on it.
Eazy-E's in there and like Yella. You know Yella.
He died of AIDS.
You know all of them, right?
But Eazy-E was fucking
the
beaking.
DOC, you know.
Eazy-E was beaking fucking D. Dre for being a little fancy lad before he was hardcore. He was doing like little fucking pirouette dances and shit. Yeah,
I don't know about all that. I got to double check
Vet and verify it, dude.
I'm going to have to vet that. Is that the word I'm using?
Brody, look it up right now. Fucking Brody's fucking sitting there having
like a gangster in like Compton or whatever.
No, he was a fancy lad.
Because he said in his,
he's a fancy lad.
You know, he mentioned some things.
He wore tight, bright ass fucking clothes and did like a little duet with.
Well, he was like a performer, like an entertainer.
But then he goes from one end to the other.
I got
in the spectrum.
Dude, the guy got on the piano last night in front of billions of people. There's something
fucking badass.
You know what I'm saying?
I know. I'm just letting you know that. You know, he took some heat from Eazy.
And he's an entrepreneur.
Goddamn right. Beats, baby. Made $1 billion. Billion. One of them billion.
I need to be an entrepreneur. I need to invent something.
Well, in a kind of a weird way, you are. We both are.
Kind of.
And we've started our own podcast. We're doing pretty goddamn good. We live in the wealthy part of our fucking areas. I mean, we're doing fine.
The wealthy part.
I mean, shit. But,
actually, I don't. I live in the poor part of the wealthy.
You do live in the poor. Okay. I live in the wealthy part of the wealth. Okay,
you live in the wealthy part of the poor part of town. I live in the poor part of the wealthy part.
You're wrong.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Anyway,
go ahead.
Did you see the dumb fuck?
Who?
The dumb fuck who wasn't playing for
oh my God!
You dumb
in the gray
sweatshirt. With his sandals on.
I'd cut his ass right now.
They didn't show the sideline for the coaches to fucking chirp him. So anyway, some dude, they get an interception in the end zone. Not a touchdown.
Hell of an interception.
And the dumb fuck who wasn't even dressed with sandals on, like you would wear, like and he runs out
like
there.
Flip-flops.
He runs out there and celebrates an interception in the end zone with all the guys. And the guy's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Out here.
What? And he didn't even play. Talk about a prop bet. He didn't even play, and he got a 15-yard penalty. And that, man, look, throughout the game, that could have fucked up. Somebody got hit. Somebody got an extra hit because of that. Somebody got hurt with something else because you had to defend.
Well, maybe they couldn't get in field goal range or whatever. You know.
And how about what I always look at the little nitpicky things like that's so dumb. And how about the kid that fucked up on that holds the ball for the extra point.
Oh yeah.
And there was a time, there was a time where they were down by 1 because of that, or they wouldn't have been able to tie it up.
It would have been a 3-score game
or something.
whatever.
Something
it would have been 14-3 as opposed to 10-3.
Something.
So the Bengals get a touchdown. Now they're just down by a field goal instead of a field goal, instead of 4 points or whatever.
Little plays.
No, you're right. You're right. I didn't like the way the game ended. I'm not going to sit there and complain too much about it. I know everyone's focused on the holding penalty by the linebacker, late in the game.
Yeah, I saw that.
But on the 75-yard touchdown that Cincinnati scored, it should have been offensive, PI, pass interference.
Yep.
Grabbing Jalen Ramsey's
and then
mask.
and then at the end, and this is the last, and we'll get into some hockey too, guys.
I'd like to talk a little more football. I've got lots to talk about in terms of football.
We don't want to. We love the audience. I love all you guys. I will not have Andy hijack the show and talk about his stupid fucking football days, which shouldn't exist.
Although I want to ask the listeners something.
There's what?
I've reached out to athletes in other sports, and like a few of them gotten back to me. And I'm like, okay, do we have these guys on? Like legends who played like baseball or football?
Like who? Wait.
I know because I don't want to say.
I trust you with the hockey people. Yeah. I don't trust you with anybody else. Who are you talking about?
Who? What the player is?
Yeah.
He's got like a crazy story. Lenny Dykstra.
Oh, fuck, get his ass on. You goddamn right.
You know his story.
You goddamn right. You get him on.
Like anybody who had like billions of dollars, millions of dollars, and then like lost it on Nails.
Dude, are you out of your mind? He goes on Howard Stern all the time. Okay.
Oh yeah, he does.
Yes, get him. Nails. Get his ass, dude.
You know Nails.
Fuck yeah.
I wasn't sure if you would.
He's a psycho.
He's a psycho.
He likes women. He likes women.
Okay, but I want to hear. And didn't he go to? He went away maybe for a little bit.
Dude, he's fucked.
And he went bankrupt. He made a shit ton of money. Always had a big chew in his mouth.
Yeah, Nails, dude. He was jacked up.
Okay, so let me just throw it out there. Like, reach out to me. Let me know. We're not going to like go away from the hockey and whatever.
Send it to the comments in the Strick.
But I want to know, like, would you like us to interview entertainers, athletes from other sports too? Like, is that something you'd be into, or just like the hockey player?
Or if there's questions that you guys want to ask us,
yes,
and then Brody,
we will read those questions.
Brody, get those goddamn questions off of either our Twitter account, Cam and Strick, our Facebook. Instagram, and you get a hold of us. We keep all our shit, but I don't want you to do it to me because we have too many. I keep all my shit open. If you're on fucking Hardcoreville and you need to talk, I'll talk to you on there. But if we're going to do I can't relay that to Brody. It's just an extra step. So just send it to the main account. And
I would tag me because I will see it.
Yeah, you'll see it. Because you asked me about if you're like overdosing on painkillers and shit, and I'll talk to you. Your wife's divorced and that kind of stuff. But the question stuff, if it's just for us, but if you want to send it into the podcast, we'll go over it on the intro.
I just randomly like shot him a message one day, and then he just gets back to me.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Just tell me you're like a cute little girl or something.
What's up?
He's a fucking horn dog, dude. There's a couple commercials I saw that during that Super Bowl that are pretty good. Sopranos one, man. Anytime you watch the Sopranos intro goes on, dude, I'm a Jersey motherfucker, Mm-hmm. And so I thought that was kind of cool. Although I hate AJ.
That was okay.
It was okay. But this is theme music. I'm like, what's up?
Are you ranking the
commercials?
I
go, hey, yo, I'm Italian. What's up? That's what when I saw that, I'm like, yo.
There was one that was actually good, and I can't even remember it, actually. When I watched it. That's how bad the commercials were. I can't even remember. They had a bunch of different like celebrities and stuff like that in there, a bunch of like athletes and stuff. I like when they make the athletes cartoons and stuff.
That was cute.
Yeah, I like that.
I figured Ty would like that or something. Yeah, that was kind of cute.
Ty fell asleep. Dude, he lost his first tooth yesterday at hockey practice. Can you believe that?
Good.
I lost a tooth at hockey.
Good.
And he's very happy about that. So, like, first tooth got knocked out yesterday.
I'm surprised he didn't lose his tooth, and you're going to take a picture of him, but you have him wear his mask, and then you're like, look, he lost his tooth, but he has a mask on.
What do you mean?
I just hate. He's got the cutest smile in the world. Just take a picture without his mask on.
I don't. Do I ever put him?
There was a couple times where I had.
Well,
to,
maybe during like the heavy.
There's a couple times where I had to text you.
And
I'm like, I want to see his beautiful smile. Just don't take it. If he has
probably a year ago.
If he has to wear his mask in that particular area, just wait, and then take a picture when he doesn't have to.
Yeah,
I want to see his smile, his emotion. He's a cute kid.
People trying to put pressure on NHL players too to like
what now?
Be honest now if you have symptoms.
Okay.
Why wouldn't they? You know what I'm saying? Like let's not make that to be a big issue. I like how Brandon Saad said, "Well, I know that I've had a cold and I've had COVID, so I know the difference."
Like, am I a fucking child? Am I a child? Like, shut the fuck. Worry about yourself, people. Fucking everybody's in everybody's bit. Just worry about yourself.
Oh
Jesus,
my God,
Murphy. Be happy.
What'd you eat yesterday?
Oh, God. Oh, fuck, Andy. Mondays, man. Oh, God. At 4:30 comes around. I'm like, he goes, yeah. I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm like, oh. Oh, God. I'm like hitting things. I'm falling down. My poor wife has to sleep. 4:30 in the morning. The
you guys sleep in the same room?
Yeah. I mean, you think I'm allowed to sleep in a different room unless she's pissed at me? No.
Okay. Well,
no, I'm not.
Because
she needs to be by me.
I know some people who, like, where one or the other, like the man or the woman, like the husband or the wife, has to get up early in the morning, like really early, so they'll sleep in separate rooms so they don't wake each other up.
Can I tell you something?
Have you heard that?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
I thought you told me you were sleeping in another room.
Listen to me, and listen to me good. Let me tell all y'all something. I love my wife. Beautiful woman. She even put a little sexy thing up on.
She was going for the Rams, dude. She was a little heavy Rams with her cheerleader. Listen, and Laurie loves it. Laurie, my wife, she didn't even. She's like, she never told me she was a Rams cheerleader.
Yeah, and we did a provocative
erotic
of Kate. And Kate's like, Cam, am I allowed to post this picture of me modeling back? I go, fuck yeah. I go, post that goddamn thing, girl. You look goddamn good. I go, we don't do these sexy pictures.
So is it more for her or for you? I think you'd like that.
No, but I looked at it and I'm like, because I'm the one that's going to take a beating on this one if, and then no one's mean. But I'm like, no, fucking show it off. Girl, what's up? I go, fucking post that mug. But I'll get back to your point. Like, I love my wife. Beautiful, love her, takes care of me. Lovely person. Pure soul, I like to call them. But at nighttime, I would sleep in a different room. Like I would.
You would.
I 100% would. Now, I like to be next to her. Like, I like to see the doggies right there. Boo-Boo is on the bed with us, too.
Do you snuggle with her when you're sleeping?
Fuck no. I lay on my back, and I spread my legs like... Dude. She curls up in a ball like, I'm a kitty cat. Look. And I'm like... And I hit things, and I got my car, and I look at my phone, and I'm like...
You're probably snoring.
I'm disgusting.
Absolutely disgusting.
I sweat. I have to go to the bathroom all the fucking time.
I feel so bad for her.
It's horrible.
Yeah. No, Kate, you got to start sleeping in a different room.
And then I'm like, and then if I sleep in a different bedroom, like, she will lose her mind. Uh-huh. She gets scared. Like, I need to be
scared.
I don't know what it is. Like,
what? Like the boogeyman type thing?
Well, I mean, we are in the middle of nowhere. There's red eyes glowing in a beautiful.
Well, you got to have something under the bed.
Well, we do. She thinks she's really like, comfortable. Like, but my point is, like, she wants to wake up next. I completely get that. So I don't go upstairs. Mm-hmm. But my buddies who are wealthy, build new houses, and they put a motherfucking master suite on the west wing and the east wing of the house, and they both sleep in different rooms.
Well, I mean, a lot of...
Unless they're banging, and then they still sleep in different rooms. And I think that's kind of okay, because I'm fucking all over the place. Like, I get up at 4:30. I don't want to make a mess, but I can't. I have to look where my shit is because I have work to do.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know, Andy.
Is your master on the main level, or is it upstairs?
Main level, dude.
Yeah. So when you get old, like, you can't go up.
I don't need it. We don't even go upstairs, dude. We don't even go upstairs.
Oh, my neighbors who have the okra,
irrelevant ones that I don't care about.
Okra, whose kids go to an advanced math school, by the way. It's very advanced. And the taxi cab comes over every morning to pick them. I always see the taxi cab.
Well, they're cheap asses getting taxi cabs.
Well, no, the school is like several miles away. I don't think, and
fucking walk.
So they have like two. They have, when they built their house, they put two full baths on their main like you know how you go into like, can I use your bathroom? Like you go into someone's house, it's like a full shower, everything in there. And they have another one on the main level too.
They like to keep clean
because in their tradition, I don't know how closely you follow their tradition. It's very interesting.
Eastern Indian.
It's very interesting. Wonderful people
from India.
They often have their older relatives come live with them.
Oh, fuck.
So, no, I'm just telling you. So, getting up the stairs is a little bit of a challenge when they're older, so they got to prepare accordingly. So,
that's tough, man.
So, when your parents and in-laws move in with you in a few years from now,
if I had a shit ton of money, I'm not going to lie to you, I'd fucking buy 1,000 acres. I'd buy 1,000 acres in Missouri. I'd build a fucking compound on it. A lake, everything. I have my parents just live there with dogs.
Fake lake. Yeah, fake lake.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'd have streams come
I don't like man-made lakes. I want real natural beauty. I mean, these man-made lakes and all the planted palm trees and stuff. No, I want the real thing. I want the real thing.
No. Andy, I'm just saying, like, you'd have streams in your back. 1,000 acres, you could do a lot with. You could connect different creeks that go into this, that, and the other. That's what you do. And I'm telling you, all you do is you find some of these farmers, man. Their sons can't pay the taxes on it. They don't want it. Their daddy dies. They own a farm. They can't pay the taxes. You fucking snag that property up in like Hannibal, Missouri, or like
Well, you want to know
Missouri.
what happened, dude? That's how Stan Kroenke bought the Rams, because Georgia Frontiere, who was the former owner of the Rams, wonderful woman, loved me, used to give me a big hug when she would see me. Always had wonderful perfume on and everything. Just a great lady. And always wore a scarf, different scarves and stuff like that. Cam, do you remember her or no?
Yeah, and I don't know. Okay. I don't give a shit.
When her kids couldn't afford the taxes, dude.
Yeah.
When they left.
Yeah, no, I know.
And that's why Kroenke bought the team. Josh Kroenke, his son, was up on stage too. He like runs the Colorado Avalanche, dude. So it's like everybody gets on the inside. When your dad's rich and famous, man, it gives you an opportunity.
Yeah. When you're that wealthy, you're not even happy anyway.
You don't think?
Nothing makes you happy when you're that wealthy.
Explain that.
It just doesn't. You're just you're a robot, and all you do is connect with the people that are on your level, right? So you look at a guy like him, and you're like, why does he just chill and kick his feet up? Why do he have to keep making money? Because he doesn't compare himself to us. He doesn't even compare himself to Tom Cruise money. He compares himself to the other 0.0000000% of the people, the other billionaires. Those guys have a big dick contest, and they compete and they compete and they compete. They're never fucking happy. They're not. The only wealthy guys that are happy, the guys that we interview sometimes, like old boy that ran the Kings. He's not even in that category as far as wealth. What's his name? No. You know what I'm talking
Bruce
about?
McNall.
Bruce McNall. Like, he's a happy guy. But a lot of these billionaires, man, they just try to keep up with money. It's all about money. It's a fucking boring life.
Keep up with the Jonases.
Hey, here's another thing, too, by the way. Did you see those two crazy hole-in-ones on 16 at the Waste Management down at...
I'd like to go to that, actually.
Here's why I wouldn't. Look at the crowd. It's all swinging dicks. It's like fucking 50,000 swinging dicks down there.
You mean like a frat party?
It's all dudes. And I'm like, where are the women folk at?
Where are the women at?
And they're at the poor bartenders in Scottsdale like, oh my God, a bunch of boners walking in here with fucking pink fucking shirts on, trying to fucking grope me.
The salmon shirts?
Yeah.
The salmon
and I'm like,
shirts?
And my buddy's like, let's go
down. Did you
down.
ever wear the salmon pants?
I could wear whatever. No, it doesn't matter.
Did you? Like,
not salmon pants.
All the preppy guys were wearing those a few years back.
I would wear pink golf shirts. So fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, right. Golf shirt.
Yeah, I'd wear a pink, bright as shit.
Pink shorts.
But I don't want to be around a bunch of swinging dicks. And I feel like my buddies asked me to go down there. And I'm like, that'd be cool, but... everybody's just swinging their dick around.
Okay, can I ask you a sensitive question?
Yeah.
We like to keep it real on this podcast, as you know, for those who have listened over the years. 2 years.
Yeah.
Anson Carter, dude.
Oh,
okay.
Oh, Ace?
Ace
Ventura?
Did you know that was his nickname?
Fuck no.
Like the other day.
I don't think anybody knows his nickname's Ace.
They're interviewing Matt Barzal, and he's like, Barzy, it's Ace. And like Barzal didn't even say anything.
Ace
he's
who?
like, what?
Ace and Gary?
Did they have like a new host? I'm not trying to chirp Anson, but here's my question.
Yeah.
So he gets, for people who don't know, has a little Twitter exchange. Then Anson Carter, he brings it to air.
Ace.
He brings it to air, and like no one even knows what he's talking about unless you're really following the Twitter feud that they were having. And apparently, like the Minnesota writer was questioning how much he really knew about the Wild. I guess Ace took that personal. And then he went on to take it even further and to say things like stay on code. He brought race into it. He said you picked the wrong month to bring this out. Like so it just completely...
Was it a joke?
I just think they were having like a disagreement, and then all of a sudden Ace brings it to the airwaves, and it just took on a life of its own, and it went in a direction that I think a lot of people were like, okay, this is awkward, this is uncomfortable. And you know who it was uncomfortable for?
Wayno.
Okay, let me just say this.
And then he chirps Wayne a little bit?
We got the greatest player in the history of the game. Like, listen, if he's trying to change the subject, just change the subject. He brought up the Calgary Flames goaltender, Markstrom, who just had his like 8th shutout of the season. Just change the subject. Then he tried to bring Talk in. And Rick Tocchet's like, no, I'm not looking to really like get into that, because nobody knows what's going on in terms of this feud. And, so here's the thing. I mean, it was just uncomfortable for a lot of people. I just think you got to be careful.
Dude,
hold on. Let me just say this real quick, and I want to get your take on this. I think you just got to be careful. I think the worst thing you can do, if you're going to bring race into it, I don't have a problem with that. But if you're going to accuse somebody of being racist, then all of a sudden, that's a slippery slope if they're not being racist at all. And to throw that accusation on somebody, that can paint a pretty ugly picture pretty quickly, Kim.
If I was a writer, I'd be like, what the fuck did you say? Like, you fucking call me racist? No, I called you lazy.
He didn't even call him lazy.
Or I said you don't watch the games.
You don't know the Wild or whatever.
And he probably doesn't. And you know what? I don't either. And if you told me I do, hey, Cam, you don't watch Arizona Coyotes, I'm like, fuck, you're right, I don't. They're boring. Sorry, I don't. But, like, I get where he's at in this stage, and he has to know a bit about everybody. I get that, but to turn it like that and make it so fucking uncomfortable. And another thing is, like, there is shit that you could bitch about, Hanson. And I'm sure guys in the comments do fucking beak his ass for shit. Because I don't think he's that good anyway. I'm not going to chirp him in the comments, but I bet he gets some mean cats doing it, and I get that. So if you want to call those guys out, but in this particular situation, man, you're going to ruin this fucking guy. Because he just said that you don't watch, he's just sticking up for his team. Like, that's ridiculous. It's absurd. He made everybody on the dais uncomfortable, including 99, which is like a fucking no-no. Why you're up there, I don't even know. You're not that fucking good. And you don't really break the games on that well, in my opinion. You're just fucking there. So this guy just said that you don't watch the games, and now you turn it and spin it that way. Beak him in a different way. You think he's trying to be racist? What? Doesn't make any sense.
Yep.
No, he's just like, you don't watch the games. Like, you know what? Most people don't even look into the lens of color. Like most people, I probably could say that they don't. They don't care. He just thought you don't watch the games.
Well, listen, and there's and listen, here in St. Louis, there's a long time African American radio guy who I've worked with for a long time. I mean, for years, over 20 years, man. Very outspoken, Charlie Tuna. Very outspoken, very opinionated.
Oh yeah,
and. You know, I actually brought him on my hockey show to kind of discuss this very topic this past Friday.
What did he say?
Just for like the first 10 minutes or so, because it was kind of playing off of like he's gotten to know Craig Berube a little bit, and you know they hang out at the same restaurant, whatever. Yeah. And so Berube came on his radio show, and I said, "All right, come on in for a few minutes, man. Let's talk about what Berube said to you, whatever." And I brought this thing up, and he even said, "Listen, man, who's been through a lot of shit, you know, like." When you grow up in the States, not to compare it to any other country, I'm not doing that. But I'm just saying, when you grow up in the inner city in the States, man, it's like a different experience for certain individuals. So especially at his age, I mean, this is a guy who's like in his 70s, okay, who's been through some hardcore shit. And for him to say, hey, the worst thing you can do is to accuse somebody of being racist who's not being racist.
I know.
And so I just think it's...
Well, then everybody else is like,
there's something to be said for that. And so I almost felt bad for the writer, because the writer should be able to give an opinion and say, hey, listen, I don't think you know shit about the Wild, without being called out on national television for people who don't go look into it and think, wow, this guy was being racist against Anson Carter.
So Ace, you mean?
Ace.
I mean, that's ridiculous. Everybody's just like, wow, what is going on back? He keeps talking about like.
And let me just throw this out to the people too, because you know they've got the diversity allowance and alliance and different things going on that are really moving things in the right direction. Yeah. You know, and that's the plan, that's the idea, and we know some of those people very well. Yeah. Jamal Mayers is a guy who was just out at the All-Star game, you know, in Vegas doing some street hockey stuff. He did some stuff here in St. Louis with a bunch of kids from with Tom
Stillman and Ryan O'Reilly, baby. What's up?
And I've known, you know, Jammer for years. I do a radio show with him once a week as well. Yeah. You know, Chris Stewart. There's some real good people, man, like who don't go about it the same way is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, man. Look, Anson Carter reached for the fucking stars on that. Like, we'll say it. I know a lot of other people probably aren't going to bring this up. I'm saying they're
doing some great things, you know what I mean?
Andy, we all know. But here's the deal. Like, Anson Carter, like, you're reaching for the stars on that one. You got pissy because he kind of chirped you back a little bit. Like, just take the chirp for what it is. Like, you don't have to, like, amplify it. There's other shit that you could look up that maybe that you could say, this motherfucker's racist. That's fine. But you're going to put this guy in a corner like that? That could absolutely ruin him. Because what? Because he said you don't know. Like, big fuck deal. Like, be a big boy, Ace. Be a big boy. Like, come on. There's other shit, and I get it, man. And I know you went through shit. But you're calling this guy out, and you make it, it's like, what the fuck? And I know people are like, well, he gets uncomfortable all the time. Well, in this situation, I think he's wrong on it. And I think a lot of people will agree on that. And I think a lot of people And the alliance would probably agree on that too. And they'd be like, well, how about like you pick and choose your battles when it comes to racism, man? Because you're going to bash this cat and he's fucking donezo because he said that you're not watching. What does that have to do with anything?
Yeah.
Besides you not watching the fucking game.
Right.
He's like, oh, what? It's February? Like, okay. Yeah. Oh, whatever.
So listen, well, we just got to end the hate. Let's try to bring people together and move things in the right direction. Yeah, but you can still
chirp people too. But, like, you see that off limits to chirp?
But
like, what does that mean?
Here's how I'll summarize it. When things like that happen, the message and everything that we're trying to accomplish to move things forward, it gets lost in translation. And then all of a sudden we get sidetracked and we got to talk about things like this. So
you're okay, Ace.
All right. Marty St. Louis. Now, we've had him on the podcast for people who want to go back and listen to the episode. You should, man. And we even said at the time, Cam, remember he was talking and I was like, dude, you should be coaching. And he is
coaching AAA teams.
Yeah, he was.
It's not like he's coaching juniors.
And I know. But there's a lot of like former players, especially guys who had a ton of success, man. There's something to be said for that. Because I think, listen, Randy Carlyle, on this edition, you're going to hear him say that he thinks that you should coach in the American League first before you coach in the NHL.
Yep.
And I think when you play 1,000 games in the NHL, that should count for something, right? I mean, I don't know if it should have to be an automatic requirement that you go coach in the American Hockey League when you have that type of experience in the NHL. It's almost like coaching, but it's not coaching. So I understand what he's saying, but at the same time, all right, Marty St. Louis. And here's the way I look at it, because he's tight with the GM there, Kent Hughes. He knows Jeff Norton. Or Gorton, I should say. Jeff Norton used to be a defenseman.
Yeah, 10-2,
oh my God.
He got rocked by Trevor Linden one time.
So Jeff Gorton.
Went through the glass.
Jeff Gorton. Listen, they all know each other. Rangers, youth hockey, kids playing together, all that type of stuff. I honestly think part of it is, who knows, to find out, can Marty St. Louis coach? Is he the guy moving forward long-term for the Montreal Canadiens? Yeah. We're going to find that too. But also, you got a new president, new GM. They haven't been around this team. They got to put somebody in there that they trust, who can then report back to the GM and the president and be like, okay, here are the phonies. Yeah. Here's our core.
Yeah.
This is who we're moving forward with.
That.
This is who we're getting the hell out of here because they're never going to help us.
Phonies, man.
You know what I'm saying? So
I know.
You got to put somebody in there who you speak the same language with, who you know, who you trust. And so that's part of it here, I think, to be honest with you. Because they know he's not coming in to like win games right now. The team's not good enough. They're not winning games.
I'm glad you said that. Okay, I was worried. Okay. No, you're right on that. It's more like, come in. I'm gonna pick your. It's more like I'm gonna pick your fucking big old brain.
Let us know what's going on.
Like your big brain, you're a winner. You know how to fucking win. You know how to take games over. You've done it all.
As shit.
You're confident as shit. You're gonna. Who's gonna say anything to you? Mm-hmm. Like, are they gonna say, well, "Fuck you, Mark"? Well, what do you mean?
Right.
Like, right?
Caulfield's what are you gonna say? What do you know, Marty?
What are you gonna say to him? Yeah.
Where they maybe could say that to Ducharme.
That's what I'm saying. And so Marty's like, and Vinny's right behind him. Like, what? Excuse me, little boys. No, we're fucking the big dicks. We might not know the X's and O's on how to win games right now, but right now it doesn't fucking matter. Mm-hmm. We're 50 games below 500. We're evaluating every motherfucking move you guys make right now because we know how to do it.
People are asking him about like systems. What kind of system?
Well,
he's like, I don't know, system. He's
like,
I'm not worried about systems. He goes, I hated systems when I was a player. He goes, because you know what? When you're playing just in systems, then you're not reading the play. I want guys who are going to like read the play.
I'm evaluating the people. I'm evaluating the players right now. And then we're going to figure out what we have. Yeah. And then we're going to get into this. And look, man, it doesn't matter what your systems are right now. It just doesn't.
No.
You're donezo for this
systems,
year. I'm looking at like who's going to be our warrior and who's not. What the fuck moves I got to make in 3-4 months. That's what I'm evaluating right now. So all y'all, when we practice right now, this is a tryout.
I know, because systems, it's almost like you're asking everybody to play within the system. Then are you asking everybody to play the same way when certain guys are capable of doing things other guys can't?
That waved bye-bye to him, that whole organization a long time ago. They're gone right now. You have to evaluate what you have.
So I think it's a brilliant move. And again, I don't know if Marty St. Louis, he may come out of this year and be like, okay, I don't want to do this. Like personally, if I played 1,000+ games and I'm a Hall of Famer, I want to be where Jeff Gorton is. I don't want to be behind the bench. I want to be putting the whole thing together. You know what I'm saying? I'd love to be the president, the GM, but you can tell that he's passionate about coaching.
Yeah, dude, he might want to be in control. Look, some guys are different, dude. Like, maybe he wants to put his stamp on every fuck detail that goes into every single detail in the games and the practice and all that. Not just like the detail of picking guys and who you want in the lineup, because you're still going to have a say with that with Big Gort Dog anyway.
Oh, yeah.
But if I'm Marty St. Louis, probably like, no. I got my itch. I've been coaching these young kids. I know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm a goddamn winner. I'm one of the best ever. I'm a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
I want my stamp on every fucking detail.
Always had a lot to say as a player.
That's what I mean, dude.
You know what I mean?
Like, he wants to run the show.
That's right.
And as a GM, you are, but you're not. Craig Berube runs the show. No, Dougie does. Don't get me but as far as like the details, Craig Berube watches everything. He's like, I want him there. I want this, that. I want that. That's what Marty wants.
Yeah.
And some guys are past that point that want to be like, no, let me be the puppet master from up here. I don't want the detailed shit. You do that, but I know what I'm looking at, and then I'll go from there and I'll pick and choose the groceries for the fucking meal.
Yeah, and he may say this is not for him.
He's psycho, dude.
Or
he's in it.
Or he may.
He's in it.
Or he may. Well, I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? Cam?
Oh, like he might be too much. It might be too much for him.
Just everything. Like, you got to balance. You got family. Now you're not with your kids all the time. You're not watching them play.
He's
like,
past that point. I think Andy right now, like
you're married to your job when you're a head coach.
Yeah, but he was married to his job for fucking 20 years, and now he's like, I need to be married to something else.
No, they need that adrenaline rush, man. They need that.
They love their wife,
competition.
They love their family. It's all good. But he's been coaching his kids. He's probably like, no. I need to take my coaching to the next level. I want to prove myself.
He's got an older one, right, at the program too.
Exactly.
So he's ready to let go of that one.
But when you get to that point, Andy, like, you want to prove yourself at a different level. Like, you're like, okay, I'm a winner, but now I'm good at coaching. Let me show. And now you're put in the biggest fucking situation possible.
That's all he's done his entire life is prove to people that he could
now
do
he's
it,
like,
right?
let me be the guy. Man, look, if you have that fire in you, in your soul to be a head coach, and you've been through so much, like, that's what you want to have to hold the reins.
Let me put it to you this way. If he doesn't, like, if they don't have success, which they're not going to.
Yeah, but there's...
Is he automatic? You need to. What do you need to see if you're the GM or the president to know if he can be your guy long term?
They like to give, like,
because if he was available, is there any other team in the league that's looking to hire him as a head coach right now?
I don't know.
This could become a trend, though.
I don't know, but if I'm going to roll the dice on anybody, I'm going to roll a dice on two fucking superstars to, like, go in that locker room. And right now, if I'm the GM, I'm like, I don't give a shit about wins and losses. That's the beauty of it right now. It's like, let these guys, these big brain motherfuckers go in there who are legit superstars. Everybody's going to look up to them. Although Marty's small, but they're going to look up, they're going to be like, well, what the fuck? Like, I'm listening I'm going to pick your goddamn brain.
Oh, hell yeah.
If Marty St. Louis walks in your locker, I'm like, tell me everything.
Well, they're all starting at the same time, right? It's like the GM just got there, the president just got there, so, like, they're not attached to anybody on that roster, right?
I know. They're like,
so collectively they can kind of put something together.
Everybody's like, they're in a bad spot. I'm thinking, not really. There's nothing to lose. You're already losing. So there's like, this is like, you have like at least a year or two to even just like get your groove on.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. You're so bad right now, you can't get any worse. Yeah. My point.
All right, so Jay Woodcroft, the new head coach in Edmonton. I've known that guy for a long time, dude. Like, first off, when I was coaching, or not coaching, but broadcasting, a little different there. When I was broadcasting in the United Hockey League back in the day with the Missouri River Riders, like, he was on the team. He was playing. Mark Reeves was the coach.
Yeah.
And by the way, I hope people, heard what Andrew Shaw said about Mark Reeves and everything. You know, we didn't clip that off. You know, we may have to, like, whatever, send that out to the Blues alumni, whatever. But I loved hearing that.
Yeah, me too.
But Jay Woodcroft, he was a player on the team, and then he was a longtime video coach for the for the Detroit Red Wings when Kenny Holland was the GM there. You know,
you earned your trust.
And then he worked under Todd McClellan. You know, McClellan was there in Detroit under Babcock. It's like the Babcock tree. All these guys. You know, with
can we talk about Edmonton though?
Yeah. So real quick, remember the story when Mike Babcock tried to fight me and, like, physically, like, came after me?
Yes.
And I had to go to therapy and all of that, remember?
Pussy.
And I was just very...
You should have smacked him in his fucking big head. If I was there, I would have stuck up for you, man.
Okay,
that.
I know you would have. Bernie Fedorko was
even
there.
if I wouldn't even have known him, like, I wouldn't even know. If I was there, I'd be like, what's he doing to you?
I know. So we had Babs on the podcast. Everything's all good, man. That was such a... And I was young, a long time ago. Regardless, it was Jay Woodcroft. Because I wrote that story, remember? And Babcock was pissed off about my story.
No, I was playing at the time.
Okay, but he had my story in his hand. Yeah. Like, he was like, I don't even think you were playing in the league yet. This may have been before.
Fine, I was playing juniors.
I don't know, maybe.
Sorry,
but regardless, it was Jay Woodcroft who said to Babs, that's Andy Strickland right there.
So is he a good guy?
I think so, yeah. I mean, like, listen,
dude.
No, I think he's a good guy. Like, he's paid his dues. I'll put it to you that way. I haven't talked to him in years. I wish him the best of luck. I think he can do a good job. I think he did a good job in the American Hockey League.
Hey,
his brother, Craig, used to run the Northern Edge Hockey
That's
School
his
here
brother?
in St. Louis, who's now coaching in the UHL or the KHL. Yeah.
That's his brother?
Yeah. There's another brother named Todd, too.
Hey, he's got some enemies in St. Louis.
Who, Craig? I always got along with Craig, but I know
saying,
there's some stories and stuff.
Not me. I don't give, no one's fucked me. I just know some cats that don't like it.
No, I've heard some stories and stuff. I listen,
letting you
but
know.
again, I had personal interaction with the guy for several years, and we got along great.
Hey, okay, so anyway, but Edmonton, man, I like Kenny Holland, dude. He came on here. He talked to us for an hour and a half. Awesome guy. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to be okay. But when you have so many fucking coaches coming in and out of that goddamn organization, dude.
You're starting over all the time.
You don't know what the fuck's what. You're confused all the fucking time. System here, system there, this, that, and the other. You're good, you're not good. So every coach is different to you. So now your mind's fucked. If you go through 50 different coaches and you're on a bad team and you're trying to be a superstar, the one coach is going to say you're great. The next coach is going to belittle you. The next coach is going to say this. The next coach, and you're like, what the fuck?
Who am I?
What the fuck am I? Ryan Nugent-Hopkins? What am I?
Let me tag on that because, listen, for years, like Joe Quenneville was here as the coach when I first started covering the team. And then all of a sudden you saw this revolving door. It went from Mike Kitchen to Andy Murray to Davis Payne.
Subaru Payne.
And then, it wasn't until Ken Hitchcock came in, and obviously Joel had a long run. And a majority of it prior to me even, being around covering the team, whatever. So I'm talking after that with Hitch, Andy Murray, Davis Payne, whatever. It wasn't until Hitch got the job that we started to see some stability, okay? And I asked Doug Armstrong about this recently because, since he hired Hitch, he's basically had what? I guess he had 3 head coaches when you include Mike Yo. Berube was on the staff, though, so it was kind of an easier transition into Craig Berube. And now Berube gets the contract extension. Doug Armstrong doesn't want turnover. He doesn't like turnover at all. All these other coaches that I'm talking about that came in after Quenneville, Army wasn't here yet as the GM.
Yeah,
so you had this revolving door and whatever.
Yeah, can I tell you something real quick?
So real quick, he doesn't
because I did play for the Blues at the time.
Yeah,
can I say something?
Yeah, because he doesn't want turnover. He doesn't like turnover with the scouts, any of that stuff, right? So if you notice the Blues, they once you're in, you do a good job, you stick around for a while.
So when Andy Murray got fired, I kind of got fucked over because I did a stupid ass I gave a quote that I shouldn't have gave, and I kind of kicked Andy when he was down as a 4th-line piece of shit and blew up in St. Louis, and my dad's like, don't fucking put it on the radio. You're getting bashed. And I'm like, oh, God. And I'm like, I didn't mean it, and I had to call Andy, da-da-da. But then Davis Payne came in, and he was cool as assistant coach. But remember, we had Big Wald on our team, Keith Kachuk. And Painter comes in, and at the beginning, when he was the assistant coach, he was driving a Subaru.
Yeah, I know. You told that story before.
And I'm just saying, he comes in, and all of a sudden, Andy Murray gets gone because he just couldn't relate, and fucking Walt was getting. But then Painter comes in and acts kind of tough. Like he should have eased his way in and got to know Walt and dealt with Walt because Walt ran the show.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of like got talked to him.
His first head coaching job.
I know, but
he
put his foot down.
Yeah.
He got a brand new car. Like all these little things that seem just stupid, they all add up. And he just was kind of a hard ass.
You don't think he should have gotten a new car?
No, he should. But just like you add that on, you got House of Pain going on all the time on the Jumbotron. Walt's looking at him like, you got to prove yourself before you act like you're getting popular. You know how the Blues do it, man. You come, they pump you up like no other, and sometimes it's to your demise. And he just couldn't connect with us. He transitioned too much into like hardcore Davis Payne. Instead of just been like kind of like I'm the assistant coach still. Just let's all bleed.
Well, what I'm getting at is all I'm saying, that instability which you just brought up with Edmonton. I've seen that, like with one coach coming in, one coach out, new coach in, and all of a sudden it was when Ken Hitchcock got here that mentality changed a little bit, and they had that stability. And what's happened? They've had a ton of success since then, right? Yeah. And usually when you have success, you stick around, but you don't panic, you don't go overboard, you don't go too crazy when things don't go well. You got to let things happen and trust the people that you have in place that they can figure it out.
If you look at your 2 best players and you evaluate Just evaluate their like everyday mannerisms, right? Look at Vladimir Tarasenko the other night. He's happy. He brings his kids into the goddamn thing. He fucking takes a stick and he throws it over to that little girl who cries.
Yep.
He knows how to feed off the. He's so good at feeding off the. Without speaking great English and be able to be like witty and funny.
Yeah. Oh, the fans are on his side, though.
They love him as they should.
They're on his side.
He's been there forever. He's won your Stanley Cup. He's awesome. He knows how to play. So my point is, when you evaluate your superstars and their mannerisms after games, like if you're making a lot of money, you should be happy all the time. You see the cameras on Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. They're fucking miserable. I mean, they're just down, and they're not. I never see them smile. Maybe when they score a legit goal, but other than that, they're just down all the time. Like, it ain't good for you. Like, it fucking slows you down.
What do you think they should do? I mean, how long do you just?
That's what I mean.
Continue down this road with those two guys.
The best player in the league's
being the face of your friend, and you just you're not getting it done.
He's mopey all fucking day. Like, he just looks, and people are gonna be like, "Damn, I play with him." Well, fine, but like optically, when you look at the fan base and we're seeing him on,
I just think that's his personality. You know what? In the case of Connor McDavid, Cam, like he's been under the spotlight for since he was a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like
Sidney Crosby has too. He still has that kind of like.
No, I know.
There's a difference, man.
But you know what?
I know
you look at the players that Crosby's played with.
Fucking miserable. Listen.
No, but he's had a lot of help. You know what Crosby brings in?
At the beginning.
No, but they had
They
like
were terrible.
They
almost sold their fucking team. Come on.
I know, but
they did sell their team.
Oh, at the beginning.
Yeah, it's the most miserable. They were fucking terrible.
Right. But he had Malkin, and then you get Letang, and then they were able. But you know what? Crosby can turn in the Brian Rust into looking like a star. Jake Gensel can look like a star.
You could take
Pascal, but Dupuis from back. I mean, these guys can all of a sudden elevates
Kunitz could
everybody.
Come in there and just
Chris Kunitz,
he just does his shit.
He elevates everybody who comes and plays there.
That's kind of like he might.
And they had Marc-Andre Fleury, too, man. That makes a big difference.
That's the thing. Right? Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know what to say, but they just look miserable. I hate to see it. You want your best player in the world. You want the best hockey player in the world to be happy. You want him to be fucking chirping and and smile. It looks fucking
Well, maybe
miserable.
the new coach will bring that because he knows some of the younger guys. He's coaching the minors.
Maybe I'm nitpicking, dude.
Well, maybe he's going to bring a different
I like happy people.
Environment.
I like happy people.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I hate being around miserable motherfucker. I hate it. I hate when people are down. Don't bring me down.
Are you around a lot of happy people?
Always.
Yes.
I do.
You got to
not
be around
surround
happy
myself.
people.
Am I the most happy person ever? Now I get pissy here and there, Andy, because you worry how my energy level is going to be.
Well, your energy level wasn't where I needed it to be earlier today.
I didn't need it earlier today.
And I was like, are you going to be okay?
I'm okay.
Are you going to be able to deliver what we need from
Monday's
you today?
Fuck.
It's going to make you a healthy scratch.
I've been there before. Then I had to be happy up in the press box, like, "Hi, I'm happy, Cam."
Anything else you want to get into? The Coyotes playing. Okay, they're going to pack the house in that 5,000 seat.
There'll be a bunch of hot chicks in that mug, bro.
I'll go there. You know what?
You would go there.
To Tempe? Yes, I will go there.
Yeah. I like the ocean.
Is there listen, we're trying to get the owner on the podcast too, man.
We need to talk to
Alex. Hopefully we'll get him on. I need to know just kind of exactly what the thought process is.
There's going to be hot chicks at the goddamn games. I'm not going to lie to you. The thing is,
dude, it's going to be a college crowd.
It's going to be the same hot chicks at Arizona State. So it's like, those guys, you're equivalent to Arizona State. That's fucking embarrassing. Like, it's horribly embarrassing.
For an NHL team to have to play in a 5,000 seat arena.
It's horribly embarrassing.
Yeah.
There's no ways. There's no way to cut it. Like, it's fucking embarrassing. And if I'm making $7.5 million like Clayton Keller, I'm like, I need people watching me, dude. Like, what are we doing? How the fuck could you stand for that?
I don't know,
Andy. Like, am I making sense here? Like, if you're a fucking big dog, I'm like, I want to be. I'm losing money. I got 4,000 people watching me tonight. What the fuck? Has this experiment lasted?
They've got a bunch.
Can we get out of this experiment, please?
They're building up their prospect pool, a shit ton of draft picks.
Though, Andy,
I just don't know what the.
It's not Clayton. It's not the team.
What the future is.
It's not there
for the Coyotes. You know, like are they truly going to be able to turn this thing into a competitive team?
4,000 people.
And I like watching them play. I mean, they've got some they got some players that play hard. I like watching.
They're boring.
And whatever.
No, they're boring. They're fucking boring. You can't tell me a team that loses that much is fucking exciting, Andy. Get out of here.
Well, they're not exciting.
You know who's exciting that loses is Detroit. They fucking hit you and they fight and they're fucking crazy. And Stevie Y. Eisman is like, oh, fucking don't ever take a. You know what? If you're going to get beaten, you're going to show that this is our house. Like, shit like that. Like, fuck, stick up for yourself. Like, that's entertaining. Arizona's boring as dog fuck.
No, they are, but they find themselves.
So don't. Well, why are you lying to our? Why are you lying to our fans?
Because I like Clayton. I like watching Clayton.
We just said we like Clayton.
Yeah.
Don't lie to our. Don't fucking lie to our fans.
But that's about it. I like Kessel.
Don't lie to that truck driver in Saskatchewan right now.
Hey, he knows
fucking
what's up.
grinding it. Like, no, don't lie to me.
I like.
Get on with yourself.
You know who I don't know how much I like?
Who?
Chikrin.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like
minus 40.
I don't know, man. I just feel like teams. See, here's what happens: the media like latch on to certain guys because you have teams like Arizona who are just selling off everybody, and like he's a player that has a decent reputation.
Well, let's break down the media real quick.
No.
We're not talking about the cats in Canada. We're talking local media a little bit.
No, not really.
Oh, okay, because
I'm just saying, like
they're just
they build
things.
up certain guys. And I think there's a little bit of a buyer beware around the league, dude, for a guy like Jacob Chikrin, who's a good player, but how good? I don't know. I need to see you play on a good team when games really matter, when you truly have to play at a certain level to have success, like within the team that's trying to win.
When people ask me about Chikrin on the radio, they're like, Cam, what's your take? I go, I don't fucking know. That's what I say to him.
Yeah,
I don't fucking know.
You really don't.
I don't know. I see him play. I'm like,
what would Ace say?
Ace would be like, well, let me tell you. I watch them 15 times a day. Well, they play once every 3 days. Well, what'd you say to me? Would you? Oh, God. Look, he's probably pretty cool, man, but he kind of went off a little bit on that. And it's just like, that's scary. Like, remind me not to chirp him ever, although I kind of did. Is he going to he's gonna be pissing me now?
He may come after you.
God dang, Ace. I'm sorry, Ace. Ace.
He probably would have dusted you back in the day.
Oh, fuck off. He did have a great career.
He had the dreadlocks.
He's doing everything.
Ace, bring the dreads back.
Yeah.
I bring the dreads back.
Cool.
I get back to like,
be happy, Ace. Why we have to be
when he was a player,
Ace?
he was just like that. To me, he was always that guy who just appeared to be like so chill and calm.
Yeah,
and
totally. I want to go like fucking party.
I remember talking to him years ago. He was like putting together or like involved with like an ownership group trying to buy a team.
Really smart guy.
Like when everything was going on with the Thrashers.
Don't let Russo think that.
Don't let a media guy who like chirps you on Twitter. Like I get chirped every single day. Like it is what it is.
Fucking right, you do. You get beat a lot on Twitter.
Not as much as I used.
Yeah, but not
because I'm not very opinionated anymore.
Mean, though. They're mean. People are mean.
Yeah, but like if you listen, here's what it is. I mean, for years. I mean, for a good 10-year period, dude, I was the only one in St. Louis who gave daily opinions on the Blues. Like nobody.
I know you did.
Like the columnist maybe wrote a column like once a month, maybe during the season, but nobody was giving daily opinion. You had some beat writers who were writing the news, the day-to-day events, but nobody was giving their opinion.
Yeah. No,
I was the only one, dude. And so people either agree with you or they disagree. And if they disagree, then,
you're bashed, dude.
It is what it is.
Bashed.
But it thickens your skin, and it's kind of fun to kind of deal with that,
choose
too.
Your battles on that one because, like, you just made everything awkward, which, like, that doesn't need it. So anyway, but that's him, man. Let him do his thing. There might be more to it than I don't know. But on the other hand, it's like
I think they apologize.
I hope there is
to
more
each
because
other.
If there's not more, then like fucking apologize to that dude. You didn't fucking mean to be racist. Anyway, whatever.
I think they apologize to each other and stuff.
Well, okay.
Did you see the other one?
What?
It was E.J. Raddick and Frank Saravalli. They went at it too. Like all the media was like going at it.
About what?
In one night.
About what?
In the same night.
Well, they get pissy at each other.
Because
they're all babyish, man.
Well, EJ said something about the Ducharme, the head coach.
Yeah.
And like gave his opinion, but gave his opinion like he had some information or whatever. I don't know. And I guess then he was chirped by Frank for saying like are you in the room? Do you talk to the guys? Whatever. Like how do you know? Type thing.
Oh, okay.
So it was kind of
okay,
like
then.
But
that's healthy.
It was kind of like, hey, listen, okay, if you're going to say that, like I need to know, like
that's totally fine.
What kind of credibility do you have to have that opinion?
Yeah.
Now, then EJ fires back and says, hey. Just because, not even saying about Frank, but just saying anybody can be, or you can be an excellent reporter, but it doesn't mean you know anything about the game. So then it was like, wow, now it's getting personal, and now it's
but that's healthy. I don't mind that.
You don't mind that?
No, that's legit. That's legit argument right there. That's a legit argument. Like, well, how do you know? What are you in the locker room? Well, I've been in the game a long time. I know more about hockey than you just because you're good. I like that.
Yeah.
Good, call each other out because you know what? All y'all need to be put down a fucking notch anyway. You all think you're the fucking coolest thing. here's how take his hockey stick. I'm going to run the puck up the wall. Tell me what you need to do with it. Mm-hmm. Take the puck and just show me what you would do in different situations. Like that, just that question alone. Like, go ahead, show me. What would you do? What would you do? Would you kick it to there? Would you do that? What would you do with it? Like, I could fool all you. But you all need to get just put down one little notch. We all do. I get put down a notch every goddamn morning on the radio. I'm like, yes.
I put you down a notch.
I know. You do every day. Why is everybody else so fucking smart? I'm like, oh, well, anyway.
Are you watching the Olympics?
Fuck
the hockey?
Well,
the women won today, the semifinal. They're in the gold medal game against Canada. I don't think anybody, nobody predicted that.
Yeah, I'll watch. I'll pay attention to that. But I don't like to look at the beautiful scenery out there in China, where the backdrops looks like Springfield and
where the Simpsons are from.
The Simpsons are from. It's Mr. Burns' factory. Everywhere you look.
Can I ask you a question? Yeah. In China, what's the climate? Like, are they have like mountains? Is there snow? Is that real snow?
No, it's not real snow. It's all fake everything.
Is it cold?
Not really.
Do they have 4 seasons?
It depends on where you're at, homeboy.
Well, break down China for me.
China's gigantic. It's almost as big as the
they've
U.S.
got panda bears and stuff like that. They need
panda
cold
bears
climate.
Are the cutest goddamn things you could possibly imagine.
I'd like to have one.
Panda bears will like run and just like eat carrots like
they eat bamboo. Dude.
They'll eat. They'll go up to a tree and be like, "I'm gonna fall," and they'll fall 40 feet and be like, "Bank," and they're like, "I'm good." Yeah. They're the cutest things ever. Yeah. But China is there's so many different provinces, man. Like, it's crazy. It goes on and on and on and on. So there's you go up by Mongolia, it's fucking freezing. But Beijing's kind of like, I don't know.
You go up by where?
Mongolia. Yeah, Mongolia, north, where they had to put all the walls.
Is that North China?
Yeah, where all the Great Wall of China is. Really? So you get the Mongols and then come down.
Live there. A lot of people live there up in China.
You don't know
well,
shit.
I'll have some China trivia for you next. But the USA, they're playing well. They're undefeated throughout preliminary play. They beat Canada.
That's cool.
You know what's the youngest USA Olympic team in almost 20 years? They've got 5 19-year-olds, Cam.
Cool.
Now, you want me to break it down for you? Or
am I that into it? Not really.
Adam Cracknell, by the way, playing for Team Canada.
Great guy.
Awesome guy. Listens to the pod. We'll give him a shout out. He's probably listening from China right now.
Just a sweetheart of a human being. Lovely person. Mm-hmm. Great hair. Very handsome.
Yeah.
Good dude. Played online with him. Love Adam Cracknell.
All right, let's get to Randy Carlyle, baby. You know, coached the Toronto Maple Leafs, obviously coached the Anaheim Ducks back in 2007, one of our favorite Stanley Cup winning teams ever.
Dude, shit kicker.
Pretty opinionated. Like, gives honest answers.
He was great. I didn't know what to think of him, man. And I did ask him a stupid fuck question.
Well, that happens.
I know. Well, I'm not a journalist, motherfucker. Like, Jesus, sorry. I didn't go to fucking Missouri.
What was the stupid question?
Something to the effect of, what's your worst place? I hated Ottawa. And he's like, well, I'm fucking Canadian.
Oh, my God.
I'm like,
the dude, is like a legend in, Winnipeg. He likes Winnipeg.
Know. Well, Winnipeg, too, is tough to play in. I'm just saying, I just meant it like, if I want to go like wheel chicks, it ain't going to be in fucking Ottawa in the middle of nowhere, or usually in Winnipeg when you have to walk underneath to do shit. Mm-hmm. Like, you're just not thinking that way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's all. I didn't mean it like that.
But he won a Norris, man. He's cool.
Great guy. Smart guy.
Didn't have a ton of success in Toronto, but they didn't really help him with certain things either. I don't know, man. He did win a cup in Anaheim. He's coached for a long time. He's coached with Anaheim on a couple of different occasions, but he played over 1,000 games in the league and won a Norris too. So
no one even talks about
a lot of different directions you can go in with Randy Carlyle.
Yeah,
so
we did. He was great.
So that Toronto audience out there, man, stick with this one. You're going to like a lot of the stuff that's in there.
Yeah, love all y'all.
We get into the Leafs for sure. So anyway, as always, the Cam and Strick podcast is brought to you by Hair Club for men and women.
Man, yeah, and my bald spot's getting pretty big, and I might have to do something.
Right, another treatment.
Dude, I might have to get one.
We'll go to my landing page, will you? Our landing page.
Is it yours now? Jeez,
CamandStrick.com.
Push me aside.
CamandStrick.com.
It's getting bad.
No. Hairclub.com/CamandStrick. That's our landing page. So just sign up for your consultation from there, dude. You get $250 off.
I gotta do a host an event coming up in 2 weeks, and I'm kind of concerned.
Where's it at?
It's at Fuck, I don't know. Why are you asking me hard questions?
What kind of event is it?
It's for a big company, and I just have to do it, and it's going to take 3 hours.
I don't know what this means. Like,
it doesn't matter
what kind of event.
It's for.
What are you going to do there?
I'm going to be the host, and we're going to bring up and do auction items and stuff like that. And I just feel like people are going to stare at my bald spot.
Where's it at?
Man, it's in my email. Damn it, my wife has everything. I don't need to know.
Okay.
Driving.
You just let you know. Oh, so you can't have driver drive you there.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah,
actually,
but I'm worried about my bald spot. It's kind of embarrassing.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, you know what you do.
Well, I know.
You go to Hair Club, dude.
I need to.
800-279-7878. 800-279-7878. hairclub.com/Cam and Strick. That's our landing page. Go there. You'll see our faces and everything. You can sign up for your consultation from there and get $250 off. Now, when you go to Hair Club, listen, it is the most intimate, private, what's the best way to describe these meetings? No. It's like sincere. It's genuine.
Yeah. Look, you just have to walk into place. And
what's the word
easy.
when it's like private?
You're just comfortable.
You know, like when nobody else knows.
No one's going to be evaluating. If anybody's in there, they're there for the same reason. Everybody that works, they all get the game. So just get in there, shut the door behind you, say hi to everybody. They come in. Like, you don't have to announce it. Just walk right in that mug. And you just go, you grab a coffee. Yeah. They sit you down. They put that little thing on your head. And you're like, here, I'll show you exactly where you're losing it. Yeah. This is what we can help you with. Here are our options.
Here are your options. Because
your options. Sorry, did I use a different word?
Well, you said our. They have hundreds and hundreds of solutions.
Do you think people know what the fuck I'm saying?
Well, I'm just telling you.
Well, I'm letting you know too. I've actually done this.
Yeah,
that's why the front part of my hair looks good. It's just the back part.
It's one of the best decisions you ever made.
Yeah, well, I mean,
and now you got to
I'd still be doing the same.
Finish it off, dude.
Yeah, that's finish it off. It is embarrassing, man. I see it and I'm like, motherfuck, it's getting bad. And I got to go to Jersey. You know, I don't want to wear a hat going into the Blues and Devils and stuff. I got I'm like kissing hands and shaking babies and shit. And I can't wear a hat.
You got to give a fist bump nowadays, dude.
I know,
especially in the greater New York area. Although numbers are down, I told you numbers are down.
Oh, tell me more about numbers, Andy. Please tell me about New York.
Hey, over 1,200 locations though of Hair Club. When you're out there, man, go visit one of those locations too. Just say hello to people.
I know.
You know,
I get.
They got a great Instagram account too. Follow Hair Club on Instagram and social media, and you can learn way more about Hair Club there as well by just following their Instagram account and check out their website hairclub.com. And we love our friends over there at Hair Club. So check that out. All right, CarShield and carshield.com. 800-857-2481.
Great Super Bowl commercial.
Yes. Panger was doing the voiceover.
Pang Dog, yeah. The Pang Dog. Anytime I hear the Pang Dog, I'm like, what's up? There he is. So CarShield had a great commercial. They're great people. And listen, you want to simplify your life? I like to be simple. Everything's simplified in my fucking life now. Like, honestly, except for the back of my head.
Streamlined and everything?
Just like simplified. Like, I'm like, what are we doing? Okay, I'll get clubhouse food, blah, 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 blah. I don't have to do shit, blah, blah, blah. Simplified. I don't like to be stressed out. So if shit goes down in my truck, I can call CarShield. I'm like, can we take it right down the road to my boy? Right down the road. They're like, yeah, you can pick and choose whatever you want. And they just do it. No one sees it. You just kind of go. They'll take care of you. They'll give you a car. Like, just simplified. And you just pay monthly. Very easy. That's why they're gigantic.
And that's why they're great.
That's why they're great.
Ice-T had a great tweet out last night giving a shout-out to his boys, Snoop and Dre.
We got to get that motherfucker on.
Yeah,
we should. Somebody tweeted out at him.
Yeah, they did. And he was like, I would love to do it.
Yeah.
And Cam's like, oh, and you're part of the CarShield family, too.
I said that.
You did. I just hope you didn't, scare him off.
Oh, what the fuck ever.
I mean, he might have been like,
no, I pumped up CarShield. You would have been like, hi, I'm Andy. I played football in high school. He'd be like, what? At least I said CarShield. Like, he gets it.
No, I know. Just letting him know. We're all on the same team.
Well, that's why I said it.
Yeah.
You talked about fucking your neighbor who's like...
Well, I mean, I've got several neighbors, dude, so it depends which one you're talking about. You don't know. I mean, there's a lot of great things happening.
Not really.
A lot of good things happening in time for the spring, dude. I'm looking at some landscaping, too. I need some help. You need to help me with some ideas that I have.
Oh, don't talk about it unless you have a sponsor. Yoink.
Well, Mango. Oh, our drink, by the way. Cam, true story. Mango Lemonade, Four Hands Brewing Company. The Mango Lemonade Hard Seltzer, which is unbelievable. The main distributor here in town, I don't want to say anybody's name, but they reached out to me. True story. They said it's like the best-selling hard seltzer in town. Like, they can't keep it on the shelves.
People are buying that mug.
They're buying it up.
It's a good-looking can.
It's made by Four Hands. It's a good-looking can. This will be the hottest drink in the spring and the summer. Trust me when I say that. And it's winter, and they're selling it like crazy. So check it out, man.
Hell yeah.
Send us those pictures when you're drinking that Cam and Strick hard seltzer from Four Hands.
The women folk love it.
They reach out to me.
The women folk.
They reach out to me.
Yeah, because they're comfortable around you, right? There's no, like, threat with you. They're just comfortable. Like, Andy's the kind of guy, like, if your wife gets stuck on an island with him for months, you're just like, it's okay. Although you're probably going to die because you don't know how to, like, live, you know?
Me? Nature. Like survival?
But as far as, like, a relationship thing, you're just like, that's okay. Yeah, no big deal.
He's cool.
Oh, thank God. Okay, we're good. Oh, thank God. It's with Andy. What?
I feel that way, too, with my wife, too, sometimes, because she's very trustworthy.
Well, yeah.
It's Valentine's Day.
Oh, this stupid fuck
holiday.
What are
you doing for
fuck you.
Oh, you don't like
it? Fuck this holiday. Let me tell y'all something right quick. All y'all out there fucking driving trucks, hardcore dudes, I'm giving you a shout out. Hardcore women, probably kicking ass and taking names too. Give you a shout out. But Valentine's Day sucks. It really does. It's just kind of a pain in the ass. And especially when you amplify it, when you have Christmas, your wife's birthday's on the 16th of January, and then you have Valentine's Day right after that, and you're like, that's a trifecta. Mm-hmm. That's a trifecta. And I'm like, oh, snap, didn't I just get you this cool thing? Oh, now I got to go Valentine's Day. Like, fuck. I'm going to give you flowers that are going to go bad. We have candles and shit throughout the house. Like, I just got to spend money. It's a pain in the ass.
No, you don't like to do anything. Anything that requires you to have to, like, stop somewhere and, like, put some thought to it.
I'll spend the money.
Struggle with that.
It's not the money.
It's like
not the
having
money.
to stop.
It's not the money.
Pat Maroon would say it's because of the money. We'll give him a shout out, too.
I'm the most
on your
non-cheap.
contract extension, Patty.
2 year, baby.
2 years.
Don't be cheap then next time I see you. You chirp me for being cheap. I'm the most non-cheap.
Well, you don't even want to buy some roses for your wife.
I'll buy anything. I just want to do it.
I got to buy things for, like, my kids, too, you know?
Go get them candy. Just get them candy.
I don't like to have too much candy.
Yeah.
My wife got mad at me because, Ty lost his first tooth at hockey. It's a shit kicker. I mean, basically. Is that what it means when you lose your tooth at hockey? I mean, is that what it means? You never lost a tooth, Cam. You wouldn't know what that's like.
Well, I mean, I lost my baby teeth.
And you never lost a tooth in hockey.
Well, I guess I didn't get punched enough, Andy. Tell me what it's like.
So you wouldn't know what that's like.
Tell me what it's like to be a warrior, Andy.
But please. I wrote a note. The Tooth Fairy wrote the note.
Oh, you still do that shit?
It was his first tooth, dude.
Oh.
The Tooth Fairy
came. You give him a coin?
No, like he got.
What do you get him?
Oh, yeah, he got some money.
Coin.
Yeah, I thought you meant did he get a coin?
Did he get coin?
Yeah, he got some cash.
From who? The grandfathers? Because you ain't getting cash and you're not going to ATM. You don't even know your fucking password.
No, from the Tooth Fairy. So anyway,
does he believe in the Tooth Fairy really?
I think they do.
Nah.
Oh, yeah.
Nah. Don't you kind of want him not to at that point? Like, no, it's more realistic.
It's kind of cool when they do. Dude, it's his first tooth that And then I think they eventually come around.
I don't know if I did that as a kid. I don't remember.
Well, okay. Well, here's the point. So.
What is the fucking point?
The point is, I wrote this. So the Tooth Fairy wrote this letter. And he said,
you wrote a letter?
Don't eat candy and don't eat sugar.
Poor kid.
And my wife's like, why didn't you write don't eat a lot of candy? And that's what I meant.
You ruin everything
and
for
she's
everybody.
like, you're just saying he can't ever have candy? I'm like, no. So you're saying buy him candy. I'm trying to like reduce all that. I don't want sugar
Let the kid
house.
be a kid though, Andy. Can you? Can you do that?
Yeah,
I don't care what you think. Andy thinks he's Ryan O'Reilly, and he's like, "Well, Ryan
Paul
O'Reilly only eats this
and Alexander.
Now
Steen,
they do.
too.
Now they do. When they're fucking 38 years old, they're like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna do it because I have a ton of money and I'm bored." They're bored, and they're like, "This might work for me." So you're like, "I'm gonna be like them," and then poor Ty gets like the fucking. He gets the remnants of it, meaning like he can't even enjoy candy. He can't enjoy fucking shit for Easter. No chocolate. Not a fucking fat ass burger with bacon on it. Because Andy's like, well, I'm no. Let the kid eat. God, Damn.
It's barbecue season right around the corner.
What do you get? Like, seriously, you don't even eat barbecue.
Oh, dude, I'll be like,
you don't.
we'll save that for the next one.
And everybody knows that's listening. They just they know you're fucking.
You could
style.
probably
I'm
look
not
up.
bullshitting.
You could probably look. And by the way, carshield.com.
You eat like a fucking
Use that
bird.
promo code CAM, which I know is embarrassing. It'll save you 10%. So go to CarShield and carshield.com today. And Nick, he's my guy. Brody, I may need you to do me a favor and drop off some seltzer, dude, at Nick's place. We may have to give you. I'll buy you the pay for the gas.
Anytime you have booze, you just give it to Brody to hand out because you know he's not going to drink it. If you gave me the booze, I'd be like, yeah, I'll drop it.
Yeah, you want to know about my barbecue?
Give me all your Adderall
you can probably
stuff
look
too.
up my barbecue on the BBB's website.
Yeah,
they probably have some, some ratings.
He's such a good barbecuer.
Some ratings, some reviews on there. Hey, the Better Business Bureau. Do you know I got an email, Cam? There's a guy who's an investor in the Better Business Bureau, like some big dog. He's listening right now. I apologize. I don't have your name in front of you, but
that's
I remembered this. And he loves the reads, and he's like, "Thank you so much for supporting the BBB." And he's like a big time investor.
The BBB.
Yes,
dang right.
Better Business Bureau, baby. You can find trustworthy Better Business Bureau accredited businesses at bbb.org, just in case people needed a reminder. And do you know if the information in other online review sites has been verified? Like, is it accurate? Like, do you even know?
I don't know.
You probably don't know. BBB also provides reviews of thousands of charities to help you make wise donations when you're giving to charities. You just don't want to, hand out money to bad people. You want to make sure your good hard-earned money is going to good people.
See, I like bad people.
Yeah, I know you do.
No,
when you go to bbb.org, you can find companies you can trust. When you go to bbb.org, you can learn about the newest scams impacting consumers in our areas, dude. What kind of scams are we talking about there, Cam?
Well, fuck, man. I don't know. Shit ton.
Give me an example of like a scam.
I'll give you an example right now. I watched a documentary last night about 2016 Ja Rule's stupid bitch ass, and
that's a waste of time. That is they
put on a concert event in the Bahamas. They ripped all these fucking people off. They put all these model influencers down there. Like, we're all going to be down here, and all these people spent millions of dollars. And it was a fucking disaster. That's a rip-off artist. Okay. Ja Rule's a rip-off motherfucker. Put that
on the BBB.
And this other cat. Anyway,
you were watching
it's called Fire. It's on Netflix. Check that. You guys all know what I'm talking about. Go on Netflix. You know, these guys are fucking scam artists.
You were watching some, old Western the other night, too. Like a terrible
I was watching John Adams, you dumb shit. John Adams. And that was Johnny
artist?
Boy. When I said Johnny Boy on my Instagram post, that was John Adams. When I said Big Jargy, that was George Washington.
John Adams. Oh, the former president?
Yes, dude.
Okay. It was about him?
It's unbelievable. It's on.
I tried to watch Yellowstone, too. Terrible show. I can't get into it.
You're a pussy.
The first episode.
You're a pussy.
I'm going to give it another try. I'm trying to get into, shows, dude. I'm trying to get into, another show.
Get into something cool, please.
All right, bbb.org. Go there today, 314-645-3300, baby, for the Better Business Bureau. All right, Cam.
Yeah.
Check this out, baby. We got some good stuff happening, man. New sponsor alert right here on the Cam and Strick podcast. You ever heard of Lucy Goods?
Dang right, boy.
You know about Lucy Goods?
I know Lucy.
Well, say 5 seconds before I get into it. What do you know about Lucy Goods?
Well, it's a nicotine gum that I need because I chew a lot of fucking tobacco.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you ready to give it up, dude?
Yeah, man. Yeah, my smile looks beat up.
Okay. Can I just...
And my lovely wife is getting
she
better
doesn't
looking.
Want to kiss you, dude.
And then I look
Valentine's
shitty
Day.
as fuck.
She ever say, "Hey, you take it out before you give her a little kiss"?
Will do anything at any time. It just doesn't matter. I've already proved myself.
Right, look, we're all adults here, baby. I know some of us choose to use nicotine to relax, focus, or just unwind after a long day. Modern oral nicotine company that makes nicotine gum, lozenges, and pouches for adults who are looking for the best, most responsible way to consume their nicotine.
Yeah,
dude.
homeboy.
Chew the gum. So, if you chew the gum, if you're a smoker. If you chew tobacco and you eat the gum, what does it do to make you not want the nicotine anymore? Because it has nicotine in the gum, right?
Yeah, it does. See, the nicotine's like the devil on your shoulder. You're craving this. You're craving this.
Is he talking to you right now?
Yeah, fuck yeah. I'm about to throw one in right now. He's like, Cam, you're craving this. It's like somebody that has that always craves food all the time.
What kind of
like
voice is it? Like,
hi, Cam. Put this motherfucking shit in your fucking mouth. I'm thirsty. I'm the best. I'm tasty. Get me this and that. And it just barks at you, and you're like, yeah, okay, I'll put it in. Yeah. And then, but if you have a replacement for it, that craving, that devil on your shoulder is like, no, I'm good right now. What's up? And he just walks away.
Okay. Well, listen, it's a new year, so why not start by switching to a new nicotine product that you can feel good about? Everyone wants to feel good. This one makes you feel good. They have lots of different flavors, Cam. I'm not a big cinnamon guy. You are.
Oh, shit.
You love the
Anything
cinnamon.
that makes my breath smell.
Remember that big red gum back in the day? It used to like burn my mouth, see, my tongue. It was like,
go to a
who
gas
eats
station.
that? But like the nicotine stuff from Lucy, the cinnamon flavor is actually pretty damn good. They have lots of different flavors.
Lucy.
Lozenges. And what if you don't smoke or anything? Like, can you still can you still chew the gum and the lozenges and stuff like that?
Look, Andy, you're reaching right now because, like, if you don't have a nicotine problem, you're probably not going to use it. But it doesn't matter. You don't not need to have it. There's so many people that have it that we talk to in our fan base, to where you don't have to appeal to people that don't need it.
So how are you transitioning into Lucy from?
Well, they got to give me some. They need to give me some right now, and I'm going to eat the shit out of it. It's on its way,
dude.
I'm going to eat the shit out of it.
It's on its way. If you enjoy using nicotine, you should definitely check out Lucy's products on lucy.com or lucy.co. Actually, there's no M on there. Lucy.co. And use the promo code Cam and Strick at checkout. Can you tell people to go there and, like, honestly, try this out?
Man, I'm going to
try it out.
I can't wait to try this mug out. I am very excited.
Lucy.co.
Lucy.co. Check that out, guys. If you're in a position like I am, I'm chewing a shit ton still.
Are you?
Yeah.
How many cans a day?
Look at what I'm doing right now, Andy. You're looking at. Look at what my disaster in front of me.
How many cans a day?
Man, look, you don't.
And how old were you when you started?
12.
12?
13.
You started at 12?
Yeah.
Okay. Chewing tobacco?
Yeah. It was in AAA. Yep. It was Jordy Fox, Bobby Press, 1984 AAA Blues, baby. What's up? What's up? What's up?
Jordy's still chewing, too.
Jardy, Brocky Wilson, Joey Leyendecker, all the boys. What's up? I'm giving all y'all a shout out. They all listen, too.
Okay, so at 12 years old, the coach didn't
Joey
know.
Mantovani.
The coach didn't know.
You know who Joey Mantovani's dad is?
I know.
Big politician.
Mangiapane. Oh, yeah.
Big Joe.
The politician.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Yeah.
Now, your son was a pretty good dude. I was the one chewing. He wasn't. He was probably laughing and shit.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. But the coach didn't know at 12 years old and stuff like that.
Fuck yeah. Well, he didn't.
At 12? I mean, I think you probably have that a little bit off.
13, 14?
Yeah, maybe that's...
I was in AAA. Maybe. So when did I play juniors? 15?
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is a addictive chemical.
Yeah.
You knew that, right?
Yeah, Andy.
Okay, so
I know about addictiveness.
Yeah, so let's get on the right page here. Lucy.co. Go there today. Check it out. Try all the different flavors, and get on the same page as all of us.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, man, enough's enough. And look, man, when you're chewing, like, it's fine. You don't think, but if you open a tin of chew in a room, and people don't chew around you, they smell the fuck out of that, dude.
Hoosier.
I know.
Major Hoosier.
And look, I played in the NHL 10 years. I can get away. Cool. I can get away. Well, you didn't.
No, that was.
I can get away.
It still doesn't make it cool.
My point is, like, I kind of can get away with it where people are like, oh, that's his Cam. But if you're, and I shouldn't, because it makes me look like a fucking hooge bag too. Like, don't get me wrong. But like, if you are.
What's a Hoosier?
A Hoosier. just like, you know, a guy
like
that
redneck
pulls right in your driveway in a slant. Or a guy
and like leaves an oil stain on your driveway.
You know, a guy that has a bunch of cars on his driveway that don't need to be there.
You ever had that guy that parks in your driveway and he leaves and there's oil like stain in your driveway?
Figure that out.
Oh yeah,
you fucking idiot! Like, don't stain my shit. A guy that's just loud. It's just I don't know. I can go on and on and on and on. I grew up, dude. We're from the middle of Missouri. We know what Hoosiers are. But anyway, but yeah, man, I'm telling you. Like smoking cigarettes, like if you need to, like we're in a small room right now, like
you ever crave a dart?
Fuck yeah,
me too, man. When I'm drinking,
goddamn right.
When I'm drinking,
yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I don't want to smoke a dart because if I look at you and you're smoking a cigarette, I'm like I could beat your fucking ass.
Really, you know right off the bat.
Not necessarily.
I think that's like a false judgment. I don't know if you can read a book by its cover like that.
100% could be. No doubt.
I mean, the guy may just be really tough.
Andy, I'm pretty self-aware.
What if they see you smoking a cigarette?
If
he may
I
think
see a
that too
fucking
about
guy
you.
that doesn't look tough and he's smoking a dart, I'm like, you're automatically not an athlete.
Really?
Yep. Yeah.
Like if they're under,
and
if they're under 18,
and the older I
maybe.
got, when I talked to women, they didn't want. If you're smoking a dart because you're drunk and you're an athlete and you just got done playing in front of everybody, like they don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're just a dude and you're smoking cigarettes, girls look at that like, I don't know, you're gross.
Like if you
You're
have your
fucking
own
gross.
pack of smokes.
Yeah, you're gross. I'm
Yeah.
just saying.
Yeah.
You guys are like, I fucking wheel. I have cigarettes. Well, yeah, fine.
I
You know how to wheel.
have not had a pack of smokes though. In
No, but I'll smoke a
years.
dart. I'll smoke some darts.
Yeah. Okay. Not anymore though. We got Lucy.co.
Yeah, I mean,
check
shit.
out the gum, check out the lozenges, and best on the market, man. And we love talking to everybody over there from Lucy. Will, let's give Will a
what's up,
shout out.
He's
What
in
up,
fucking
Will?
He's in fucking California, hanging out, doing his fucking shit. We see you out there, homie.
All right, let's get to Randy Carlyle, man. Good stuff here with a longtime coach, longtime player, Stanley Cup winner too, man. With us here, episode 173 on the Cam and Strick podcast. The Cam and Strick podcast is brought to you by CarShield. Nothing more frustrating, Cam, than when that engine light comes on and right off the bat, you're going to have to spend thousands of dollars to repair your vehicle. Call 800-857-2481. Mention the promo code CAM or visit carshield.com and use the code CAM to save 10%. Yeah. That's carshield.com. A deductible may apply. Save yourself money. Sign up and get your coverage now with carshield.com. Now to the interview.
Hello.
Randy.
What do they call it? Is this Kitty?
Well, they call me a lot of things. That's kind.
Kitty?
That was his nickname.
Kitty?
Was that not your nickname back in the day? Didn't they call you that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, where did you get that from?
Ian Turnbull called me that from, you guys are too young. You wouldn't know the game show To Tell the Truth. And there was a person on there by the name of Kitty Carlyle. It was a she.
Was she good looking?
I don't know. I don't remember if she was good looking.
That means she wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, she wasn't.
I would say she wasn't hot.
There you go.
Where you at right now?
San Diego.
Oh, Andy.
Look at that.
San Diego.
Listen, San Diego, they say it has the best weather in the world, Cam, in case you didn't know.
I did know that.
Like, it's the easiest place in the world to be a meteorologist because the weather doesn't change
72.
all year round. Do you live on the water? Set it up for us, Randy. I need to hear where you're at.
I don't live off the water. I live a couple miles from the ocean, but I'm not far. I'm about 5 minutes from the ocean, but it's a nice little beach community called Encinitas. Great little town. I that was my plan when I came back to Anaheim, that I was going to set myself up when I have a place down here in San Diego, and then I summer in Ontario. I have a cottage in northern Ontario that I go to. So
Muskoka Lake?
No, that's the high rent district.
Yeah.
I'm in the cheaper area, the geared for income living. I live on Manitoulin Island, it's a pretty nice place, but it's nowhere near the price point of Muskoka.
I need to know the difference on that.
Well,
how expensive is Muskoka? A lot of our guests, they live in Muskoka, right? That's the only lake Cam knows of, by the way, up there.
That's where everybody goes.
Muskoka. So, what do you mean, you can't afford it? I mean, come on, honestly, how expensive is it?
Yeah, well, you're talking entry point, probably $2.5 million to $5 million.
Oh, snap.
Entry.
And he's in San Diego. That's a lot of coin.
That's just for the land before you build,
What do you do?
Well,
go ahead.
That's a lot of chink for what you get there. But there's some beautiful places. But that's the overflow from Toronto. All the big dogs from Toronto.
Oh yeah.
It's an easy just cruise right up north and you're right there. But what do you?
Within an hour.
Yeah, what's your hobby then? Are you a boat guy? Are you a fisherman? Do you just golf? What do you do?
I'm actually still under contract to the Ducks on a consulting arm, but they don't call me.
Hey, listen, that's the best job in the world.
Best job
Randy.
in the world.
Don't complain that they're not calling. That's the best job in the world.
I got no pressure. No pressure.
Hey, but we'll give you credit if they start winning, though. How about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they're doing okay. They're young players. They're exciting. They got some. They've transitioned, and they've got a good young team. Their defense is good, and they got a good goalie. So that's usually they're 2/3 of the way through. you know?
I know. Listen, it helps when you have that from your days in Toronto, especially when you guys were just giving up goals left and right. Yeah. If you have a goalie, that makes everybody look better. But how would you handle this Trevor Zegras? I mean, this guy is just
we had him on.
We've had him on. He's fun to watch and everything. But some of the old school guys, and talking to a lot of your former players, I know you're old school. Guys like Torts and whatever, they don't like the Zegras. Like, what's your take on it?
Well, I think there's a valid point in some of them, but I don't think that you can ever really start to hamper the creativity, the skill set of the younger players. It would be the same thing as the players from the 50s or 60s criticizing us players in the 70s and 80s for some of the things we were able to do, what they couldn't do at that time because of their skill set. So I don't look at it that it isn't through harsh lenses. I think it's great for the game. It exposes the game, but it does push the boundaries. Where are you showing people up? And that's one thing we always guarded against, but I think that mentality's gone out the door.
It has. I mean, there's not a defenseman on the other side that's looking to two-hand him across the wrist for doing it, so there's nothing that's going to prevent him from doing it. And let me just rephrase the question, because I said that you want your take on Zegras. Not the player, but you know what I'm talking about, the trick shots and some of the fancy stuff that he's pulling off and creating a lot of headlines that Torts was talking about. But do you feel like in Southern California there, like, you know the market, you know the fan base, like, do you need that? Like, how much can that help sell the game and, like, create more interest in hockey, having a player like that on the roster?
Oh, for sure. Like, it's national coverage. Everybody saw it. And I think it's great for the market, and I think it's great for the game that you expose some of the talent that's available and what's coming, especially in your own market. If you just take the number of times that video's been played across the sporting world with the internet, how you can't help but admire how much of an impact a young player like that can have, not only on the market individually, but across the U.S. And it just plays right into the hands now with the TNT and the ESPN coverage. They're covering the games, and this is giving some exposure that you never had before.
Yeah, he had an unbelievable goal in the shootout in the All-Star game. Like, he's all the kids. Look, we could have Wayne Gretzky on the podcast, which we did. When we had Trevor Zegras on, Andy goes to practice, and every kid in that locker room didn't care about Wayne. They want to know about Zegras. So he's got control of the young kids. Here's the thing, though. Sometimes, and Andy knows too, when you talk to some of the boys that coach youth hockey, I go, how are the boys doing? They're like, well, shit. They're behind the net every damn practice, and they're just flipping pucks over to the net doing this. And we're like, stop doing that. Please, work on something else.
Yeah, I know, but I think there's a place for it, and there's a time for it. And I don't think that it's a bad thing. I just don't know, is there going to be some boundaries? Is the game going to become more of the individual or more of the showman act? And I think that's what the old school is looking at and saying, well, maybe it's not right. But I don't think you can ever try to tamper the skill set and enthusiasm that these young players are bringing to the game. I think.
Listen, you played for a long time. For people who don't know, you played over 1,000 games, won a Norris and all that. We'll get into that. But could you feel the game changing? Like, you played in an era where you had to be tough. I mean, you fought. I mean, you played with a lot of toughness, and you look at all the toughness that was in the game during the 80s and early 90s and whatever.
Bucky.
When did the games just start to change? And were you like, I don't like this? Or did you feel like, okay, this is going to be good for the game?
I think back then. The exposure that Gretzky gave to the game and the move from Edmonton to L.A. was monumental first. And then the fan input from the fans where they liked the scoring. They wanted the high-scoring games. And then, of course, the coaching, you've got to restrict. You as a coach, defense wins championship. It's simple as that. It's been proven. So you try to defend, and you design schemes to prevent that from happening. So there was kind of like an oxymoron there. You're going to create all this scoring, but yet coaches, their longevity in the league, if you don't defend or you can't have your teams defend well, you're not going to be employed long. It's simple. It's one of those things that you're trying to create, and we want the scoring, and you want the enthusiasm. You want those young players to be able to be creative. But in the end, in the playoffs, and when you come down to it, defense wins. So you got to devise schemes to limit that.
Yeah, just like, the left wing lock started coming around.
Yeah, right.
In the 90s, yeah.
The Montreal Canadiens were playing the trap 50, 60 years ago. It was there, but nobody else had called it that. But the Montreal Canadiens played that system and won multiple Stanley Cups playing the trap.
Yeah.
That's a fact. That's fact.
Yeah, and you saw it with New Jersey, and like,
and then then the 1-3-1 comes in the neutral ice. There's some teams that played, and that's what I played when we won the Stanley Cup in 2007. We played the 1-3-1.
Oh, that team.
Oh, my God.
Oh, Randy. Oh, yeah.
Hey, well, I want to ask you this, though, because, I mean, first of all, do you miss not coaching right now? Because, like, you've been in the game for so long and now you're out of it. Hey, although you're a consultant, but you're not going to the rink every single day. And, like, how'd you get into coaching? Like, who was the guy that said, hey, I think you'd be good at this. You should look at this as a post-playing career?
Well, actually, when I retired, I had the opportunity. There was no guarantee of what position I was going to take up in the organization in Winnipeg. That was the ownership at that time was Barry Shankro that owned the Jets. And we'd come to an agreement that after my playing days, I'd be afforded an opportunity to stay with the organization. There was no defined role. There was nothing. So my first venture was into the media side of it. I did help produce a show or worked with doing the interviews, and it was the Jets this week. And then I did the color commentary on a radio analyst with Don Whitman and Kurt Keelback, are two icons in the game. They all had 40 years of experience, and they carried me along. And I got a chance to step away from the game, and then the opportunity came for me to get back involved when John Paddock took over as the general manager, and he asked me what I would like to do, and we hummed and hawed about it. And then there was a position as far as director of player development, and that got me involved with the younger players, the drafts, and doing the amateur scouting, and then doing a touch of pro scouting. I did that for a couple of years, and then he asked me if I wanted to get into the coaching side of it. And what I found with the coaching side of it as an assistant, it was the closest thing to being a player, because you were with a group of players, you traveled with the group, you were on the ice every day. So coaching for me was almost transitioning back to being a player, because you had that lifestyle. And that's the thing that I enjoyed the most, because it was exciting. It was an opportunity to get back on a regular routine. When you play 20 years or 18 years, you get accustomed to certain things every day, and we're creatures of habit. And we get up in the morning. Well, what are we doing today? Well, I'm going to practice. I've got to practice. I got to prepare. I got to make sure this. There's a few headaches that come with coaching the players don't realize, but again, that's all part of it. But that's what coaching did to me, is gave me an opportunity to get back at the ice level. And I was fortunate enough to, I almost got 1,000 games in the coaching fraternity.
Yeah, I mean, 1,000. And what do you mean by like the players don't know some of the stuff that gets hectic with the coaching? Like,
well, and I was as guilty as anybody, because I thought the coaches would come out and, they'd be there for a half an hour and they'd prepare a practice and basically blow a whistle and, get off and yell at us and scream at us for what we did wrong, and they would leave. But there's a lot more behind the scenes work that take place. Is the coaches are there at 6:30 in the morning, and the modern day coach, I know they are, and a lot of times they don't leave till 11:30 at night. There's a lot of work that goes in. Staffs are much bigger, but the game is dissected much differently with the video. The way everything is put together, and you're devising schemes. There's a play for everything in today's coaching.
Okay, so is that good, or has that been good for the game, or is that too much?
Well, I don't know. I think it's part of the evolution. I think that if you're going to be successful, you have to develop a program where you have a plan, and I used to call it plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, for whatever comes your way. And they're living that now with this COVID environment. I can guarantee you it's not fun for the coaching staff to have to put together a program in this environment. It's tough on them because everything's the same every day, the testing, the monotony, the empty buildings, all of those things that the players are going through and went through for 2 years. And I see some of the hockey, and I call it, it's just like training camp shinny. And that's hard to motivate people. And you see, there's a lot less physical interaction in the game because of the new rules, the hooking, the holding, all of those things, and the impeding of progress on the ice. Where we developed schemes before was you're always trying to interfere and give your partner a little bit of a half second or 2 steps or a step ahead. You were always taught, that's how you were taught to play. To become a pro, you had to be able to think the game that way and to find ways to last. Because when you come into the league, you're supposedly your draft or wherever you're at, you have a certain level. And to maintain longevity in the league, you got to become somewhat of a chameleon as you go forward, because things change. The game changes and your role is going to change. You're not going to be the star player all the time, or you're not going to be the number one defenseman or the tough guy that's going to, because it's always coming along. There's always somebody there challenging you your.
Do you think, or how necessary do you think it is for a coach to have played in the NHL? You think that's important?
I think it has its advantages, but I don't think it's a number one prerequisite. I think the number one prerequisite to be a coach in the NHL is you got to be a head coach at the American Hockey League level. I think that would be the first thing that I would say that is the most important as far as job security and to learn and to know what the American League is about, and you're always in touch with the big club and the things that are happening. And that's really where it really helped me is I left Manitoba to go to Washington, D.C. in 2002 to become an assistant. I was an assistant with the Washington Capitals, and we had Jaromir Jagr, and we had Olaf Kolzig, Brendan Witt. Yeah, Bondra,
Robert Lang,
Robert,
yeah.
Exactly.
Simon, maybe.
My departure
Kolzig.
or my exit from the NHL after my playing days went into management, but I didn't have the opportunity to get back in touch. That gave me an opportunity to be back in touch with what the NHL was about, how much it had changed.
Yeah,
and that was monumental.
And even coaching in the minors. Like the guys there's so many different players going up and down. Like it's hard for a coach to even, assemble a lineup. Like everything's different. You're grinding, you're taking buses. Like you just learn a lot. Not to mention if you want to compare it to juniors, like you're coaching grown men now. Grown men that's making money. Maybe they made money in the NHL and they're grinding their last years out in the American League. So I get what you're saying with coaching in the minors. I think it helps out a lot.
Well, the coaching in the minors, there's 2 ways to look at it too, and depending on where you're at with your organization, the number one thing about coaching in the minors, you're there to develop players for the big club. Mm-hmm. So wins and losses in some situations aren't as important as making sure that Johnny plays so many minutes tonight, and those are things that you have to manage. And I was always of the inkling that it's a lot easier to develop a player in a winning environment than in a losing environment. But I understood that the younger players have to play. And it's not that they can't sit out or they can't be disciplined or they can't be, sat in the stands for a game, but you always have to give them another opportunity to have success. Find an environment that you can create that gives them a chance to grow. And that's the most important thing for a young coach. Find that happy median between sacrificing winning, versus development. And development is the number one thing, I guarantee you, for 99% of the NHL clubs with their American League teams. It's development.
It's so tricky, too, because, listen, coaches, they want to get to the NHL level as well, right? So, they want to win. They want to have success. Hey, but I'm curious, you're coaching in Manitoba. You got guys like Kessler, Bieksa, and you talk about developing 2 guys that are prospects. Bieksa is certainly a different type of prospect than Kessler, but, he played a long time and obviously proved a lot of people wrong along the way. But then you have him again in the NHL in Anaheim. How different is that to coach these guys as kids when you kind of have control over them versus now coaching them in the NHL where they've got deep pockets, they've made a ton of money, and they've had a bunch of success? Did you have to change how you handled those 2 specifically?
Not those 2 specifically, because those 2 players were self-motivated players. Mm-hmm. Those are players that found a way, and through their determination, their hard work, their skill set, they found a way. And they were impact players, in the NHL before they came back to me in Vancouver. Both those players, you never really had to instill anything in them because they had it inside. They understood how to play the right way. Their competitiveness was over the top in both of them, and they made a contribution in Vancouver. So, as far as motivating those two individuals, they were basically the same young guys. Yeah, they had a few more gray hairs and they had children and wives and whatnot. But when they came to the rink, they were business. They had a business-like approach. And that's the one thing that when you have players like that, is you really, welcome them back, or you welcome them into your team, because you don't have to spend a lot of time with them motivating them. Yeah, there's X's and O's that you can go over, but when the time comes that those players and that type of player is going to go out and compete for you, and then they're going to defend their honor and they defend their space on the ice. And that's what the new hockey is about in the playoffs. It's all about defending your honor and defending your space and making sure that you're going to be able to outcompete somebody, that might have a higher skill set than you, but your competitiveness in your team is going to take over.
All right, so help me understand this, because listen, we've had Ryan Kessler on, we had Bieksa on too, man. They both were great, but Kessler came out publicly, man. He went through some serious injuries. He's limited in terms of some of the stuff that he can do today. He says based on some of the treatment that he got, some of the options for the treatment that he received. Like, were you aware, like, he's playing, like, how banged up and how injured he was and what he was putting his body through just to go out there and play an NHL game?
Yeah, you did have, an idea that things were changing with his body, because he sacrificed a lot and he made sure that he gave himself the best opportunity. But with Kess was a guy that overworked. He would be a guy that you'd have to say, take it easy today. He'd be in the gym. He'd do far and above, because he was so motivated to prove people wrong, or to make sure that his body was going to be right. He was a guy that did things like, as far as diet, he could only eat at a certain time. So everybody else is, as you know, their pregame meals. So players are in there right after the pregame skate. Normally it's about between anywhere from 12:30 to 1 o'clock, but he had it on his clock that he couldn't eat till 2 o'clock.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like that was kind of like how intense he was. He had a schedule. He was comfortable doing that. And he made sure that he gave himself the best opportunity. So he was always in that kind of a mindset where you always had to tell him, just take it easy, just relax, He'd have a hip issue. Well, you'd see him after the game. Here he is riding the bike for a half an hour. Yeah. And I mean, not just a cool down. He's putting work in, and it was kind of like, take it easy, Kess. You just slow it down a little bit here. Smell the roses here. We just don't need you to wear yourself out. There's other things we need from him. And he was a great player, great career, great competitor.
Yeah, sometimes those guys are so damn competitive where you got to be like, just chill for a bit. Like, we love it. Like, we love this, but just like chill. Oh, I bet you the guys chirped the shit out of him for that.
Listen, here's what you do. Randy, you should have changed the clocks. It should have said like 2 o'clock, like inside the dressing room. It's time to eat, Ryan.
I feel like that's like, is that completely necessary to like go put yourself through that? Like, what the trainers say?
You saw Paul Correa and some of those guys.
I know,
man.
Paulie. Well, Paulie's on a different level too. Oh God, oh Jesus, Randy, you should have seen. Well, maybe you did. No, you haven't seen him, right? Paul Correa's.
No, I didn't have him, but I understand. But that's what makes them good. That's what makes them great. They've found a program that they're comfortable with, and they've had success doing it. Why would you stop? That's their mindset. Yeah. And they're always cutting edge. What's new? What can help me? What's better? They're always pushing the envelope to find out what they can do to help better themselves, to extend themselves. They're a different breed of athlete, but those are the kind of people that you want to surround yourself with, because you never have to worry about the other part of it.
Absolutely.
Yep. You don't have to motivate it. You don't have to. And I always liked it. I'd rather have to tame people down than have to put it in them.
Yeah, that's a good Jordan Peterson quote right there. You're better off being a monster and control it than not being a monster at all. What about, speaking of two monsters that you helped at a young age as well, as Ketzoff and Perry? I mean, I remember battling with those guys, even Perry and juniors, and just warriors, skilled, tough, fight. I mean, when you have those guys at that age as a coach, you're like, yeah, I could work with this.
Well, the amazing part about those two is when they first came in, and I think the biggest, I would say, advantage that they got, and they wouldn't say it at the time, and you probably didn't recognize it, is there was the lockout, and they didn't come and play pro hockey. They had to go back to junior. And that was huge in their development. They went back and filled the net and played well in junior and were stars in junior hockey. And then they came back to the pro game, and they were good enough to make our team, but they weren't really going to play a major role. And we had a thing with the general manager, Brian Burke at the time. If they didn't play so many minutes, and I don't know if it was 12 minutes or 14 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever the number was, that we were going to send them to the American Hockey League. And that's where the coaching staff, we made the decision that we couldn't guarantee them the minutes that he wanted. So they got sent to the American Hockey League, I think, for 30, 35 games or whatever. And Dustin Penner was with them. And they went down there and they just tore it up.
Oh, yeah.
They dominated. They had 35 points in 30 games and whatever. But when they came back to our fourth line. They were our fourth line.
Yeah.
So that gave us an opportunity. We could protect them. They didn't see the number one defense pairing. They didn't see the number one players in the league. Mm-hmm. But then they got second power play unit because they were offensively gifted kids, So then when we brought them back, that's the role we finished the year with. And I think that was the year we lost. Yeah, we lost to Edmonton in the Western Conference Final. Edmonton went on and played Carolina. But they were amongst our top scorers through that playoff round. The last playoff round, we lost to Edmonton, and they were, were young players that were just busting at the seams. And then the following year, we moved them basically to our third line. And again, they didn't have to see the number one defensive pairings in the opposition. Mm-hmm. We protect, but they became part of our top power play unit. So there was, this give and take with young players at that age, but you could tell the competitiveness, the skill set, the size of them. They understood what it took because they experienced it early in their career, and they've been able to carry that on, even to this day, the impact that they make in games. You look at Corey Perry, people thought that he was going to not be able to play for the number of years. Now he's scoring again in Tampa, and he's a big part of their hockey club because he gives identity, and he can go out and he can play in any situation. He plays in a fourth line role, but yet he still plays in the power play. He's still providing a level of offense. And where Getzlaf, if you look at what's happening in Anaheim now, people would have thought, well, he's going to slide back and be, a number 3 center or number 2 or whatever. But he's not allowing that to happen. Mm-hmm. This input of Zegras and Sonny Milano and these younger players and Drysdale on the back end has kind of rejuvenated him, and he's back in where he's leading the team in a lot of offensive categories.
Oh yeah. Now you put these like super skilled, great older players, and all of a sudden you give them some young enthusiasm, guys who can skate. You put them on all of a sudden, they can kind of find that magic, once again. But did you guys have to be careful? Okay, you've got Getzlaf, you got Perry. And you're just like the way you're even describing them. Okay, both on the fourth line at one point in time, then you move them up. Both get second unit power. Like I feel like both players were on the same program in terms of their progression, how they got marketed with the organization, like how they signed their contracts, when they signed. It was kind of like they were always lumped together, and it sounds like that started at the very beginning.
Well, it started, with where they were selected. They were both first round draft choices. Mm-hmm. So, and they were big, prototype pro potential players. Now, the transition from junior to the NHL is obviously, it's a big jump. But I think that and I go back to it, that the year of the lockout, they went back and played another full year junior. There was no question that they were going to play in the NHL. They were going back to junior. There was no NHL for them to play it. Mm. That was huge. And then with the 35 games or 30 games plus, they went to the American Hockey League. Kevin Dineen had them, and they were a top line and as an offensive catalyst for the Portland Pirates at that time. They were a great young grouping of young players. It was just a natural transition. And then when they came to the NHL, they weren't expected to be anything more than what they were. There was no pressure on them to be a first line or a second line player. But they did have to produce from a power play standpoint, but 5-on-5, and that allows people to grow. And now you got two young players that are, both have Hall of Fame careers that have been able to, sustain that level of offense for a long time. They've been in the league since 05, 06. So, they've got 15 plus years here of being an offensive catalyst for their teams that they've played for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's just kind of interesting. They both have basically had almost identical careers.
They're twins.
It's a shame that only one of them played their 1,000th game with Anaheim. One had to leave, but it is what it is. Well, what about Dustin Penner? I heard you were hard on Dustin.
Well,
when he was young, and you follow him on Twitter. He's kind of out there right now.
We had him on,
Randy.
Randy.
He's all over the place.
We have everybody on, Randy.
With what he's talking about on social media. I'm curious if you read some of the stuff that he's throwing out there.
No, I don't pay attention to Twitter at all. My tenure in Toronto kind of took me away from any of the social media platforms that I don't think there was any advantage for me to be on that and to be voicing any of my opinions. So I'd have to plead the fifth here. I don't know what Dustin Penner is putting out on Twitter or whatnot, but Penn's I had a special place in my heart because he's from Manitoba. He's from Winkler, Manitoba. Mm-hmm. Which is a little community south of Winnipeg. So I know his family. I knew him, but the issue with Dustin Penner is that he was a young player that had a big man that had tremendous skills, soft hands around the net, and a big body. But he was a guy that you had to try to motivate all the time. You had to push. And he was a guy that, a tendency to be a little bit heavier than that strength and conditioning guy wanted him. And, all of those things led into it. But he was a good person. He was I still like the guy. It's nothing personal against the guy. I like that type of player he was, and he made a nice contribution. But then what happens is Edmonton comes in and signs him to an offer sheet, and we weren't in a position to match, financially. And his career, went in the direction. Yeah, he made good money in Edmonton, but his career didn't go anywhere, and that's unfortunate.
How pissed was Burke? How pissed was Burke when he got that offer sheet?
Oh, but you see, offer sheets were something were very, very rarely used, and to tell you the truth, it's an inflationary tool for salaries. That's what it is. Yeah. And that's tough when you're in a salary cap era and somebody's forcing you to pay more money than what your cap allows you. Mm-hmm. And it just makes your job that much harder, but that's the rules, and anybody could use it. And at that time, they weren't something that was used on a regular basis. There was only I'd say about 4 of them that had ever been put forth, but he was one of them, and we didn't match, and we moved on.
Don't get me wrong. Andy and I, when we're on the radio every damn day, and we got podcasts, so when that does go down, like Carolina, Montreal, it's fun for us to talk about. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, exactly. It's great for the game. It's great for the players involved. It enhances their salaries, gives them an opportunity that if somebody's not going to value them at that value in their own market, somebody in another market is going to put that value on it. All it does is an inflationary tool that causes salaries to rise. And when you're in a salary cap era, you can only have so many players that you can pay the top dollar to.
No doubt. And
there's teams you can just, go through the Toronto Maple Leafs, for example, historically, that if you look at it, they're paying their top 4 forwards a good percentage of their cap.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, they are. They are.
We'll get into
that. And
they
hear about that, too, by the way, Randy, up in Toronto. Just a little bit. Hey, let me go.
I know you're not on social media.
Yeah, you're not on social media. We'll be
your
conduit to the media. But, hey, back in 07, though, Randy, you're a tough dude. You look at that team, and I'm looking at it, and that's when I was getting into the league, too, and playing against you guys all the time with the Blues and whatever. But that 07 team, God, you had a little bit of everything, superstardom, toughness out the wazoo, big Hall of Fame defense. You had it all. As a coach, you look back and see that team, man, oh man, it kind of rejuvenated the tough guy. We're going to grind you too. I mean, that whole aspect, man, that's one of my favorite Stanley Cup winning teams ever. And I give you a lot of credit for that. It must have been pretty fun to coach.
Well, it was great, and we were really spoiled because first year in the league, we went to the Western Conference Final, and then we made some adjustments into what we needed. And the one thing that was consistent was Brian Burke and I and our coaching staff and management had a model in which we wanted our teams to play. And that's the model of what we tried to create. And, the management did a heck of a job in acquiring the players that fit that mold. But if you really look at it and break it down, we had outstanding goaltending. We had a grouping of defense on the back end. We had a group of forwards that understood their roles and played their positions. And we had career years out of a checking line. Sammy Paulson, Travis Moen, Bobby Niedermayer.
Yeah.
And I'm a line matcher. So I always believed that my number one job as a head coach to make sure I got the right people on the ice at the right time. And people would be critical of me to this day for being such a hard matcher. But I believe that if we could put that third line on the ice and nullify the oppositions or just play them even, number one line, our third line against their number one line, we'd have an advantage come if our special teams and our power play and penalty killing were able to win the advantage in the game.
Yeah.
So we developed that checking line, and they outscored every line that they played against in the playoffs. So
underrated also.
Well, that's what I was going to say. They scored big goals for you too. They kept the puck out of the net, but they scored some goals too.
And they ground people. We held onto the puck in the offensive zone. We cycled the puck low, changed sides, low to high. All those things that they're still doing it today in the game. The game hasn't changed that dramatically, but that's how you create offense, by changing sides and low to high and the high tip and crowd the net. But these players, they identified with that role, and they got the opportunity to play an integral part of our team. And then the offensive players that we had, Teemu Selänne came back and had career years type of, resurgence after his knee surgery. Andy McDonald, Chris Kunitz, those were good, solid pro players that were getting a chance to live their dream of playing, for the Stanley Cup. And we were able to push it over the line. But again, in Jaguar, he didn't play the first two rounds of the playoffs that year. He had a son born with a birth defect, and things that happened inside. And Brizgalov won the first two rounds, but then when Brizgalov failed, or we didn't think we were getting, we went to Jiggy, and he was outstanding.
Yeah,
he made a difference, and those are difference makers. And you look back on it, it's hard to find it. We had some unsung heroes. You had Joe DePenta, who people don't know about. You wouldn't know DePenta. But I can remember him fighting Robin Regeer behind the net in game 3 or 4 that he got into. He's not a fighter. He's not that. But he went in and we were playing Calgary. He made sure he made an impact in the game. Kent Huskins, the same thing.
Yeah.
But these big men, they were 6'3", 215 pounds, both of them. And they were our fifth and sixth defensemen. So they were playing a role. And I had both of those players actually in Manitoba at one time. So I knew the history, and those players made a compliment to our lower end, but they were appreciated in our group because of that. Yeah. And everything is on the same level. And those are the things that you look back on. And Todd Marchand, he played up and down the lineup, played center, played wing, played top line left wing. Chris Kunitz broke his hand in a round of the playoffs. Chris Pronger, the slap shot, broke his hand in front of that, and he wasn't able to play. So we had Brad May. He could move up and down the lineup.
Thornton.
I mean, listen.
Thornton. Yeah.
I don't know how you handled all these personalities. Is there anybody else you want to mention on that roster? By the way, Randy, we got to get everybody in there. I mean,
what about Boschman?
Boschman's going to be upset that you didn't mention him.
Yeah, Bosch. And he is a miniature. He played hard with Scotty Niedermayer. It was just a perfect fit.
Big time. Block shots.
Sean O'Donnell, big stay-at-home defenseman. It was a perfect fit for Chris Pronger. But in the finals, we're up against Ottawa, and Ottawa had the top-scoring line in hockey with Heatley and Spezza and Alfredson. And so what we did in the final, and we didn't do this one time all year, we put Pronger and Niedermayer together against them.
Have fun with that.
How often did you? How often did you do that? I mean, was that something?
No, we didn't.
Okay,
we only did it for the finals because, to me, that was the element of surprise, and I know we surprised them because they were not expecting that. They were not expecting that at all.
Okay, so coaching. Two established superstar Hall of Fame players. I mean, in Chris Pronger and Scotty Niedermayer on the back end. Be honest. Did they need to be coached? Do you leave them alone? And explain the difference between the two, not in terms of their physical abilities, but just in terms of how they managed the game, how they controlled the game, and just what they brought to the table.
Well, again, they had Hall of Fame statistics behind them by the time they got to us.
Yeah,
they were elite level players. But really, the coaching of them, they weren't any different than anybody else as far as the X's and O's. But they understood. They were true pros. They were there, in my mind, to lead our hockey club. They were the guys that were going to make it happen. It wasn't a coach standing behind the bench or the video guy or this. The players took responsibility. They took ownership, and they were led by those two guys. Scott Niedermayer could play upwards of 30 minutes, and all he needed was 20 seconds or 30 seconds on the bench, and he could go right back out there. His recovery was unbelievable, and his skating ability to control the tempo of the game. Chris Pronger was a mean guy that played hard. Nobody in the league had a better first pass, and I can say that today even. Nobody in the league has a better first pass, in my mind, than Chris Pronger. His first pass, his breakout pass, was 99% on the money every time. Mm-hmm. It's unrecognized when you talk about Chris Pronger, because he does so many other things well, and he can play the power play, he can play the penalty killing, he can play 5-on-5. But one aspect that people wouldn't recognize, you just watch the number of times that his first pass got us out of our zone, was on the money.
Incredible. He'd sauce pass at 100 miles an hour, tape to tape.
Yeah, exactly. Then both of those guys, they were in a position that Scotty was motivated. I believe that he wanted his brother to win a Stanley Cup, because they played against one another previously. I think in 2003 was Jersey against the Ducks, and Scotty won out in Game 7. I think they beat the Anaheim, and I think that was a huge motivating factor. And Chris Pronger was close in Edmonton when they lost to Carolina, but coming to our team and looking at the situation, I think he recognized that this was going to be a great opportunity to win a Stanley Cup, and that motivated both of them.
What do you think of Pronger's personality in the room? Walking into that group, having he's the big no matter where he is, established superstar. It didn't matter how many cups other guys had on the team. He's a personality that grabs your attention right away. How'd you handle that?
I just leave him alone. Just, there's things that I really believed, and I've probably been criticized for it. The dressing room is a player's haven. It's not a coach's place to be in the dressing room all the time. That's their space. I never really liked it when I played that coaches were hanging around and in the dressing room all the time. I was one that's their space. That's up to them to control. And Prongs was, the general, and he was the big imposing figure. But he wasn't, he wasn't mean to his teammates. He was a regular guy.
Right.
Still, his personality can be, but one of that he leads you to believe he's this big, tough guy. And he is in a lot of sense, but in a lot of ways, he's a soft personality and he cares for people.
And he didn't care for Andy, I'll tell you that right now. When Andy went and interviewed him, oh my God, he tortured Andy.
But we were super tight though. Super tight. I mean, he that's just how Chris was though, right? I mean, he loved to kind of put on the show too in front of the media, and he always in control of the room, man, always.
Yeah, he's that's his personality, and then and he had great success doing it, and if you look at even to this day, I would say one of his best hockey buddies has been Todd Marchant, because from their days in Anaheim, and I don't know if they played together I don't think they played together in Edmonton, but they have a relationship, where Prongs calls them every once in a while and see what's up and what's going on, and that's like a Mutt and Jeff, hey Spike, I used to give it to
he's
Todd
trying to book a trip.
Yeah, no shit.
With his travel agency.
Trying to save money.
He's like, are you going to go on vacation or what? Let's do this.
Here's how much it costs.
Well, this is the problem: is he calls Marshy. He says, "I got this great vacation, but you got to give your firstborn up to."
That's right.
As collateral.
To meet the pay requirement.
Oh. Prongs is mad at me right now because he set us up with the vacation, but we decided to go somewhere different. Yeah. He was like, "Did you waste my time?" I'm like, "Oh man, come on now." You just had so many that team in general. First off, and we'll move on. But when you came into that season, when they made the trade for Pronger, did you know? Okay, as long as we don't, screw this thing up, we absolutely should be considered a Stanley Cup contender, if not the favorite, right? In your mind?
Well, in our minds as an organization, we felt we added the piece that was going to push us over the top. Mm-hmm. That was fact. And we talked about it. And from the first day of training camp, we never, ever swayed in our opinion of our group. When we started in training camp, this was all about us. We were going to develop Stanley Cup habits, championship habits. We're going to work like a championship team. We're going to be respectful like a championship team. Everything was geared about being a champion, about winning. And we never, ever let that go. Right from the very first day of training camp, from the very first speech or talk that you have, you have those training camp meetings and everybody gets together, you have a dinner, and then the coach gets up and says, oh, we really love everybody here and this and that. But we really did. We really believed, and from that day forward, that's all we ever did is we hammered on Stanley Cup and championship habits, and we were going to work to win a championship with this group of players because we didn't make many changes. There wasn't a lot. We just added younger players. There was players like Ryan Carter got in, Joe Motz. Like these are young guys that got called up after their college year, and we put them in the games. They played. So there's lots of people that put their stamp on our hockey club, and there's lots of people that I mention everybody, but it's tough when you're.
Randy, you mentioned the whole team.
Randy,
you mentioned the whole team. Everybody got mentioned except Ryan Shannon, I think. Go ahead and mention.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, like Shannon, exactly. Like that's what I'm saying. These young players, came back in and out of their college years, and we put them in the lineup. We gave them an opportunity, and we started them in games. We didn't sit them in the fourth line and sit back there. They got to play. I'm sure Joe Motzkow was crapping his pants when he took a penalty in the game 6 in Detroit. Like here he is. What I mean?
Yeah.
Back on, I'm sure he'd laugh about it now, but I'm sure I every once in a while you can picture him sitting in the penalty box and his eyes rolling and he's going, holy geez, I hope they don't score.
The time goes down so slow too. It's just like, oh God, it's in slow motion. But let me ask you this: if you have a good team. And it's a grind. You're in the grind days, the Februarys, the Januarys, but you're in Anaheim. And the players get to, enjoy the weather for the most part. And, of course, you're traveling all damn time. But don't you think that's kind of an advantage? Like, they're always happy. The sun's always shining. Some of these other places, and I know this, but so it's kind of somewhat depressing in Winnipeg in the middle of the winter. Like, can you take advantage of that?
Well, what we tried to do, and I was a big believer in changing up the routine because the monotony of playing and the amount of travel that the teams on the West Coast have to deal with versus the teams on the East Coast. Being when I coached in Washington, I think through the whole season we were out of our home bed 15 or 16 nights, where in Anaheim you'd be out of your bed for 60 nights.
Yeah, I know.
So there was a big difference. But what we tried to do is we tried to incorporate always some sort of a fun thing. Like, just for instance, we did 2 events. We call them team building, but they weren't really team building. We canceled practice in Vancouver, got everybody on the bus, and they thought we were going to practice. And we went over to the rink. We put our shorts and T-shirts on, and we went and rode bikes through Stanley Park and then stopped and had lunch. Oh, yeah. Everybody. Something like that breaks up the monotony of, and they were so grateful. They were so happy, that we were able to do that you thought you'd given them, $1 million each. It was like, wow, this is neat. And you might not get the result the next night, but usually it ends up paying you back somewhere down the line.
Did you give Getzlaff and Perry like a tandem bike? Like,
did they get to ride together?
There's guys that got little wheeler, BMX bikes. There's guys that got great big wheel bikes. It was like a fun event.
That's awesome. I heard you did that for years, like with a lot of different teams. Like you guys would go shooting and do a bunch of different shit, right?
You got to.
Yeah, exactly. Like we went to a shooting range here and nobody had ever picked up, a lot of guys had never picked up a firearm before, but we had a safety course. And
Andy hasn't either, by the way. Yeah. Don't get caught out in the woods with him.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Like it was doing something different that nobody has ever done. Mm-hmm. It just brings everybody to the same level. The one day we went to Ottawa and it was, blizzard type of, and cold. I mean, really cold. So we went out on the canal and practiced. We had a game out on the canal in Ottawa.
Oh, I love that.
We did those things just to break up the monotony and give the players something fresh. And they really gravitated to it. And it really bonds your team together. You know,
he went go-karting too, Cam. They went go-karting.
Yeah.
once.
Shit, I'll do that right now.
Yeah.
Randy, let me ask you this. I ask you the players this question, but like you bring up Ottawa, and I know you're a good Canadian boy and all that stuff. I get that, but like some places are just not as fun to go to, and we hear from the players, and sometimes it's nice to have a couple nights in Nashville, let's say, or out west or whatever. But in Ottawa, like, what's the place for a coach where you're just like, okay, like this is tough getting in. It's a tough drive to the rink. Like everything's kind of discombobulated. Like what's that place?
I don't know. For me, I enjoyed all those cities because, I was fortunate enough to do it for a number of years. And I wouldn't say that there was one city that you disliked over the other. There's great people in Ottawa. There's great places to go. You can go across the river into Hull, Quebec. You can go.
Thank you.
There's lots of opportunities.
Andy, who are you kidding?
No, I like Ottawa. I think it's the capital city.
I didn't mean like that. I'm just saying, as a player, you're on Brook Street there, I believe it is, and it's just like a long track, and so it's just kind of like inconvenient to where maybe Tampa, you're sitting right there and you could walk to the rink. That's all, Andy.
No, that's all.
Andy's giving this shit. I'm sorry.
I think what you got to understand is my age group at 65. There's not too many bells and whistles on my boots anymore.
You're probably signing up for like a tour. You're going on like a tour with a tour group with like headphones on.
The double-decker bus.
Oh, the double-decker bus. Okay, hey, let me ask you this. Okay, Bob Murray, right? He got himself in a little bit of a jam and had to get himself, his personal life together and whatever. Like, what's your relationship like with Bob? Did you enjoy working with him? Was he tough to work with? Because some of the stories you hear, are pretty, crazy that are out there.
Yeah, like there's challenges with all. Brian Burke's got a different personality. Bob Murray has a different personality. Dave Nonis has a different personality. When you're working with them, the thing that you got to do is you got to separate to the business aspect of it and the pressures that go with it. And I always tried to take this attitude: until you walk a mile in a man's shoes, it's really difficult to be critical. Now, obviously, there's things that came out that we're not, we don't allow to happen anymore. But some things that happened 10 years ago are not allowed to even be spoken about today. And those are the things that we have to change. Society's changing. We all have to change. We all have to recognize that nobody's perfect. We all have our faults. And we got to move forward and just try to be a better person on a day-to-day basis.
Do you still talk to Bob? Like, is he doing okay? Like,
I texted him and wished him good luck, and hopefully things come out and things work out better on the other side for you and your family. Yeah. I think that's a professional thing to do.
Yeah, I agree on that. All right, listen, we got to talk about Toronto here. So when you played a long time, like you played in Toronto, like what you're walking into, but do you really know what you're walking into when you're the head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs? Did it even catch you off guard just dealing with the day-to-day that you have to deal with there?
I don't know if it caught me off guard. What it does in a market like that, there's a lot of, we called it, and we created T-shirts and whatnot, white noise, because there's so much happening outside of the game that has an effect inside if you let it. So what we tried to do is try to keep all the white noise outside of the dressing room. And that was a term that we used. And you try to be able to ignore it. The one component that you never, and I probably underestimated it, is the amount of media influx and the temperature and how it can change on a day-to-day basis by the media in that market is extraordinary. And you don't know how to, I'd say, I don't know if anybody can prime themselves and be ready for everything that comes your way. It's not that they're not good people. It's not that the media is bad or any of those things. Is that there is a certain component that if there's not news, you create news. And it used to go back, and I was there playing when Harold Ballard, he said, I wanted to be on the front page of the Toronto Star every day. And it didn't matter if it was good news or bad news. I was on the front page of the Toronto Star. And there's a lot of that, that I would say with social media input, there's a lot of white noise created. And everybody has an opinion in Canada because they're an educated hockey fan, and the passion that's in the market and the success and lack of success just amplifies it. So there's a lot going on, and it's almost to a point where it's 35 to 40% of management of the media or dealing with the media becomes part of the job. And I don't think any coach can be prepared for that, because it's not easy, but it's a great market. You have an unbelievable fan base. Everybody is rooting for you to do well. And that's where the pressure comes for the success that they're starving for and that you're in charge of creating. And that's where the pressure comes. Some of the greatest people in the world are, in the Toronto area, and the ownership there and everything that you're afforded. I used to say they tip more than other teams spend. That they have the opportunity to do those things, but the market is demanding, and you have to be somewhat thick-skinned, I would say.
Oh yeah, well I would say that too. I mean, but did you ever did the criticism ever really get to you? Like where you had to face a media member who's just kind of
on you hard,
overly critical in the newspaper, radio, whatever, and then you got to go toe to toe and answer questions from them.
Well, I think you turn a blind eye to all that, because you're a professional and you've got a certain responsibility representing the organization. So you can't let those little personal vendettas. If you have something personal that you want to deal with, an individual, I think you're better served, to take that person aside, and we're going to have a conversation about this. This is how I feel. And give them an opportunity to speak and air what they have. If they have something against you or they have something that they'd like to say. The one thing about the Toronto media is that for 365 days of the year, there's somebody covering the Leafs. But when you have these special events where it's a State of the Union address, or you have a quarter point or a halfway point in the season, the trade deadline, whatever there is, there's always these points when you're supposed to represent the organization to all of the media. And there can be 200 people in a press conference. That is. And then you have people that are, say, from the outside lying areas, from, say, Orangeville or Kitchener, where their local sportscaster comes in, or their local
TV guy. That's Cam. That would be Cam today.
I played for Guelph.
He'd be like, Randy, I am Cam Jansen.
Hi.
With Kitchener
I got
Radio.
questions for you. Hey, Randy, though, let me ask you this, though. As a player, did you ever see, so much criticism on one particular player where you're like, as a coach, I gotta fucking stick up for this guy. He's taking a beating, and he doesn't deserve it.
I just saw that, and you knew about it and there was one player that over our career we played against and respected very highly, and that was Larry Murphy. And I always use that as an example. Larry Murphy was basically pushed out of Toronto or booed out of Toronto by the fan base for a number of years. It was merciless in what they were doing to him. The guy leaves Toronto and goes to Detroit and wins, 3 Stanley Cups.
Yeah.
Star, a great hockey player. So, there are those examples that I always like to refer to and say, hey, that shouldn't have happened in Toronto, but you can't control it. How can I control that? And, what could Larry Murphy have done better? Could he have played better? Could the team have been better? There's a lot of could-haves, but you can't change history.
Mm-hmm.
You got to try and forge ahead and be positive and look at the things that you can control and try your best to make the proper decision in the proper environment.
So is that something you would do though? Would you ever pull a media guy like Steve Simmons? I got to talk to you. Can I talk to you for a few minutes? Is that your style? Because listen, coaches and managers, they've done it to me in the past.
They cornered Andy.
But I got to be honest, I really appreciate it when you do that. And if it's handled the right way, it could actually bring you closer together. Honestly,
I was told by Brian Burke that there was 3 guys that you had to make sure that you had a relationship with in Toronto, and one was Steve Simmons. And the other one was Damian Cox with the Toronto Star, and Steve Simmons from the Sun. And then there was Bob. He had the drive.
McGowan.
Bob McGowan.
McGowan, yeah.
Yeah, and I had a relationship with all 3 of those guys where I could say that I could call them and talk to them, and had conversations that would be off the beaten path as far as just a reporter and a head coach's conversation.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
You gotta do that.
You have to
It's
be.
business,
There's
man.
nothing
It's
wrong with that.
business.
What about Phil Kessel? Like, how'd you handle coaching him? And how much fun was he to coach? Did you guys butt heads? Did you get along? Like, what was that relationship and that player-coach dynamic like?
Well, with Phil, Phil's was a unique individual, and he had a skill set that could score goals, and he still has that skill set to score goals. And he finds ways. He has a certain area where he likes to be on the ice and doesn't want to be moved out of those positions. Like on the power play, we tried to get him to switch sides. It just didn't work. They were always fighting and pushing and shoving about where he wanted him to be. And he had a comfort zone. But in his defense, he delivered in those areas, right? So it's kind of like you want to change things, but that he didn't want change. So you're better, instead of fighting and creating turmoil on a day-to-day basis, put him in his position where he can have success, or he feels he can have success. And if he doesn't have success, then you have the hammer as a coach. But he was able to deliver in those situations. Like if you look at number one line at that time in Toronto, and it's no disrespect to the players, but
Bozak, right?
Tyler Bozak, James Van Riemsdyk, and Phil Kessel was our number one offensive line. So, in today's standards, looking back on it, all three players are good players, but you wouldn't consider them an elite level player in that position.
No. We like Bozak, though.
Kessel was an elite scorer, though, right?
Yeah,
Wasn't
Kessel,
he?
yeah.
Elite goal scorer at one point.
Yeah, Kessel was like a 30-goal guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But usually, if your go-to people, and I always look at it, is you start down the middle of the ice. You got a goaltender. Mm-hmm. You got good defense. You got good, strong centers. And then you fill with people that can, score goals and play the wing and do all those things. That's the strength of your hockey club that I envision. And even in today's, if I look at the best teams, they all have that. They've got a great goaltender or an elite level goaltender. They've got elite level defense or great defense. And they've got true centers that are, playing in 1 and 2 positions. And then the third and fourth line guys are usually penalty killers or whatever. But those are the way the teams are built. The successful teams, you can go through all of them and tell me that they don't have number one center, or don't have a number one or two, or at least 2 defensemen, or a number one goalie. They all have it.
No doubt they do. And Randy, hey, by the way, you've been great, and we appreciate you coming on. I got one more for you, and we, of course, we have an audience that just loves the toughness and stuff like that. And I know you played in the era of somewhat craziness, but like when you played with no bucket, by the way, which is just beyond crazy to people now to even think that, and all the ice time you got, and I can't imagine how you couldn't get hurt. But who was scary? Like, who was a scary guy? Who's guy that could hit you where your head could have gone off the glass or whatever, and then he's in front of the net where he could score a goal, and if you try to fight him, like he's going to hurt you? Like, who were the guys that scared you?
Well, you're coming from the era when I first started the league, the Philadelphia Flyers were the, Broad Street Bullies, and they were winning and had success, and they played that way. But what they did, they were able to change the way teams prepared themselves. And then everybody had to have a tough guy, and then everybody had to have 2 tough guys. And then it was all of those situations that were, and some buildings were difficult. Like, you couldn't remember, if you imagine going into the Boston Guard, okay, and Boston had Stan Jonathan, John Wendick, Al Secord, they had a plethora of tough guys, Cashman up front, and like they had those type of players. But then if you went in against the Islanders, they had, Clark Gillies, God rest his soul. He was a deterrent. Bobby Nystrom was a deterrent. Gary Howe was a deterrent. So everybody seemed to have that kind of mix. And even in Toronto, we had Tiger Williams, who was as tough as anybody in the league for his size and whatnot. Tiger wouldn't think twice of taking on any one of them. And he did it in his own way, and he made a contribution. Kurt Walker was a player that you probably wouldn't know much about, but Walks was a big, tough guy. He was my roommate when I got sent to the minors. But, he could fight. Scotty Garling, those guys could fight, Daryl Sittler toe to toe with Paul Holmgren.
Oh, yeah.
Down, if you ever get a chance to see that on YouTube, watch that kind of like Daryl Sittler was a tough player. He played hard, and he showed up, and he represented the team, and he fought for his teammate and fought for himself. And I don't think fighting is the end all, but I think you have to be able to put yourself, and I believe that your team has to be able to defend its honor when the time comes. And that's an appropriate way to put it. That the game is changing, but I still see it in the playoffs. You still see it that there's certain things that do take place that a good scrap doesn't deter away from the greatness of the game.
Yeah.
I don't understand, to tell you the truth, when anytime a player gets a body check now, there's somebody over there trying to fight.
And they're usually just throwing them down, and they get a 2, 5, and 10.
Would you tell your players, like in that situation, to play on? You don't need to go fight the guy if he blew up one of your own guys?
I think that's something that's taken over in the game, and I don't think that you as a coach have the ability to control that because they feel they're defending their teammates' honor, and I don't think you want to put yourself in that position as a coach. But I don't understand it. When we all played and we understood the game, you were responsible to know who was on the ice, and you were responsible to keep your head up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now the person that's delivering the check is more responsible than the person that's carrying the puck.
No doubt.
And that's like that to me. That's sideways in my line of thinking of that's old time hockey, and maybe I'm archaic, but I'm a believer that you're supposed to know who's on the ice and who you're out there playing against, and keep your head up.
And you know what? And you know what? Maybe in the regular season they're going to call some penalties, but once playoff time comes, there's big boy time, and the hits do count up, and they count up, and they're not called. And by the way, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but like you're right on that. Like, if there's a big hit that happens and you see it, what you see now is guys just go and they just jump the guy. They don't throw a punch, and they fall down. And they get a 2, 5, and 10.
I know.
So the guy gets a hit in, and then he drew a 7-minute penalty.
Can't do that in the playoffs.
You can't. What I'm saying is, like, if a team gets hit, the other guy gets pissed, go challenge him. If he doesn't want to do it, there's really nothing you could do unless you want to take a huge penalty. So guys just don't do that. It pisses me off. It drives me crazy. But the hits still count, and they certainly count in the playoffs.
Well, it's a different game in the playoffs because I look at the aggressiveness goes up 25%. The defensive ability goes up another 20%. Mm-hmm. So those are, everybody now is conscious of not giving up odd man rushes, being disciplined, and and that's the change that takes place. It's harder to get to the areas in playoffs. That's your job, is to impede the progress. Don't allow people the freedom to roam around the ice. Don't allow the most skilled guy to have time and space. And the game really hasn't changed that dramatically. If 50 years ago, if the one stat that you would have taken, the best players on the ice have the puck the most. Mm-hmm. And that's still true today.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I remember, and I just have a couple more questions for you. You have been great, just like what Cam said. So, but several years ago, you created some headlines with your comments about like concussions, because you didn't wear a bucket, as Cam said. Like, you went your whole entire career no helmet, and you feel like that when the brain or the heat on top of the skull or the brain can swell up the brain and lead to more concussions. I don't want to paraphrase exactly what you were saying, but like, where do you stand on that, and explain what you were saying back then, Randy?
You see, and there's the Toronto media.
Yeah. I
said that a friend of mine believed that, not me. I says, see, that's the thing is, and I got labeled, and then I have all these neurologists in Toronto giving it to me because it's an absurd comment that I would believe that. And the person, I'll remain anonymous, who had that belief, he said, "Do you think there's any truth to it?" Because he said he believed it, and I said, "Well, I don't know. I didn't really pay any attention to it." So I referred to that a friend of mine had this belief, but no, it got labeled that it was my statement, and it wasn't my statement.
Well, I think a couple Swedish companies actually came out with like a head cooling system, like in the helmet, like lead to like reduce swelling of the brain, when you're playing sports or hockey or whatever.
But again, I don't know if it's possible or whatever, but I made the comment that a friend of mine believed it. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things where you talk about the Toronto media and having to meet with them on a daily basis and making comments like that. And then somebody took that and twisted it what it was actually my comment and my belief, and it wasn't. Those are the things that you can't pull back, and you can't sit. There's another one. I think it was James Reimer. I should get credit for this. They use it in an advertisement now on a national program, and I think it's something to do with a car rental company or whatever. Just okay. I used that comment on a goaltender one night, and it was just okay. And it created such a furor in Toronto that I was criticizing our goaltender. And all I said to it when they asked me, what did you think is James Reimer's performance? And I said, well, he was just okay. That's all he said. It wasn't like I was derogatory or whatever. We'd lost the game, and I think he gave up a short side goal or whatever. And I'm dealing with it 10 minutes after the game, where the microphone's in your face, and you're not. Where that thing got so much play, I think some boxer wanted to get me in the boxing ring for my criticism of James.
Oh my God. You should have fought him, Randy.
Yeah,
I know.
really.
Listen, hey,
Smack him around.
Joel Quenneville used to say that. I remember covering Joel when I first started covering the Blues in the NHL. Like, ask about Brent Johnson. How was Brent Johnson? He was just okay.
Well, he was just okay. I mean, that's what it is.
He would say that. Do you think? I couldn't imagine like working on two more opposite spectrums when it comes to media, working in Toronto and working in Anaheim. Is it more of a challenge? Like, how much more difficult is it to win in a market like that? And like, give us an idea, like our listeners, an idea of what these players and coaches are up against on a daily basis. Does it make it more difficult?
Well, the first thing is that it's very rarely that they do attack a player. The media knows that. The players are sacrilegious from a standpoint. They don't really go after them unless there's an extended period of a drought, like a non-performance related. They very rarely will, go after a player. They'll go after a coach. They'll go after a system. They'll go after, the program that you're providing. They'll go after the minutes played. Why is this guy making $10 million only getting 12 minutes in this situation where, across the league, they do use these comparisons now through analysis and analytics. And there's a lot different, criteria that you have to meet in their eyes. They have a lot more chances to take a swipe at you. But, and from my perspective, the bottom line is you do what you think is right. And if you're wrong, you're wrong, and you move forward. Coaching is, you got to make some decisions that are very, very quick and to the point. And you get an opportunity sometimes where you make the right ones. And if you make the right ones, you will get accolades. But if you make the wrong ones, you get a heck of a lot more criticism.
Yeah. Hey, but you had that Norris Trophy in your pocket. You can always tell your players.
Yeah, we got to pump your tires some of that. Yeah.
Google me.
Hey, that means nothing as far as today's player. That's the worst thing in the world a coach could say. Well, when I played, when I played, and I did this. Players don't want to hear that. I can tell you, I know players in the league that when I coached in my last coaching didn't know who Paul Coffey was.
Oh, I know that. I coach U16 hockey right now, and they don't know anybody. I mean, I'll ask them if they know who Peter. One kid didn't know who Peter Forsberg was.
No offense, this isn't going to be your podcast to them, but we cater to a multitude.
I make them go home and Google it and watch highlights on YouTube, then come back the next practice and give me a verbal report on what they learned about the player.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It just blows my mind that a player in today's NHL didn't know. And if a defenseman didn't know who Paul Coffey was.
Paul Coffey was all right. He needed to work on his skating back in the day, I think.
Yeah. Well,
God.
Man. Hey, last thing for you. Brian Burke, though. Are you guys pretty tight? You have a pretty good relationship with Burke? I mean, he obviously won a cup together, and he brought you to Toronto, so.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Burke and I have a strong relationship. And, he's now back in it in Pittsburgh. And, he's Burke's Burke. He's not going to change. He's pretty much what you see is what you get. And he texts me every once in a while, checks in how I'm doing, and then I text him back what I'm doing and what I'm doing, and then I don't hear from him for a month.
I know. Are you done coaching, or you want to coach again?
I think, again, I'm in a situation where I've been very, very fortunate to do what I've done for a number of years. I've been employed in the game professionally since I was 20 years old. I just turned 65, a while back. So I've been in it a long time. But never is a big word.
Right.
I never I'd never use the word never.
You watch games every night? You still watching hockey like crazy?
I watch games, but I flip channels, and I watch the teams. Like I watch the Ducks faithfully, see what's going on with their young players. I'm good friends with their coaching staff. The hire of Pat Verbeek, I think is a real astute hire. I think it's great that a young guy like him, and has been beside Stevie Yzerman for the number of years, and I know the personality. I played with him in the World Championships. I know him. He's a former Sudbury Wolf, so I'm always ringing the cowbells for people that have played in our program where I grew up. And so those are the kind of things I look at and say that he's paid his dues. He's done things that behind the scenes that a lot of other people can't, or boxes that other people can't check. So I take my hat off to the organization for finding that type of candidate. And then the other news is there's an individual that's been in the organization that they appointed him president of the hockey club, and that's Aaron Teets. And I have a long-standing relationship with him, more, from a, not specifically a person not out to dinner and doing things, but around the rink and that. That's a big hire too, is because the organization's transitioning into a different era with their younger players. And I think, the two players or two people that they hired were great hires. And I think the organization's got a bright future.
Okay. Well, all the best to
Randy,
you. I don't know if you have kids and grandkids or whatever, but just kick back and put your
go on the
feet
beach
up.
tonight. Go on a long walk on the beach. We're jealous in the Midwest out here. Go enjoy yourself, man. I'm telling you. Thanks for coming on.
Not far. All right, guys. You take care anytime.
Okay. Randy, thanks so much, man. Take care. The Strick Podcast is brought to you by Bellman and Bellman.com. BEHLMANN.com. Get out there to Detroit, Missouri. Check it out. On one side, you got the Buick, the GMC. Options for everybody. Then right across the street, you got the Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. Again, find something that works for you and get yourself a new set of wheels in time for the winter. All right, that was Randy Carlyle here on the Cam and Strick Podcast presented by Hair Club. I hope everyone enjoyed that, man. I mean, listen, he's interesting.
Cool.
We bring people on from all different eras, all different walks of life, different positions, coaches, GMs, owners, players, whatever, man.
Dude, he's cool as shit.
I love getting the coaches on.
Yeah, I like picking their brains. You feel smarter.
Could you coach?
I don't know. No.
Would you ever want to coach?
Nah.
No?
No, I don't want to. I don't want to leave my house. It's like 250
You just want to watch video.
I just want to chill and watch like documentaries on like earthquakes or something. And
Is that what you're watching right now?
I'm on the John Adams right now because it's just so fucking.
Is it like explain what that is exactly?
John Adams.
No, I know, but is it like a multi?
Why the fuck you're sitting here making money right now off a fucking podcast? What we're doing right now, this capitalism, they set this whole thing up for us. Like you get that?
Like how many episodes is what I'm asking?
Like a ton, dude.
Are they actors or is it real? Like...
It's Paul Giamatti. It's a bunch of stud actors, and he plays John Adams, and he's awesome. He's a lawyer. He's a founder, dude. He's one of the founders. And it showed during Boston in the late 1700s, and all this shit goes down, the Tea Party and all this stuff. You're going against the British, taxation without representation. It's a fucking history lesson on HBO with great acting.
Does Kate like watching that with you?
Yeah, she'll watch that with me,
That's
100%.
Great. That's great.
Goddamn right.
That is just
it's fucking interesting.
Wonderful.
Shit. What are you watching? What are you watching? The Olympics? Fuck that.
I watched the women, the second and third period this morning because I wanted to see what was going on.
Man.
Well, listen, I pumped them up the other day on television too, man. Like I gotta like talk about like you got to stay on top of things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do, Andy.
Yeah.
I do. But there's some shit that I like to watch that's like kind of noteworthy that I like to like kind of like expand my knowledge.
No,
on.
you have to
like,
expand.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, teach me about that. Well, yeah,
the Montreal
so
Canadiens traded Tyler Toffoli to Calgary. That's a good pickup.
Calgary.
Toffoli can score. He was good in the playoffs last year. He's good in the regular season too for Montreal. Got off to a great start last year.
Yeah.
For the Canadiens, if I remember correctly, I don't have all his stats in front of me. It just went down.
Hey, Calgary's gonna be good, homeboy.
Calgary is the toughest team in the league, along with Nashville.
Motherfucking team going. What'd they do to fucking Toronto the other day?
Oh my god!
Did you see goddamn Zadorov?
Just destroy somebody. And then like a melee occurs.
No, nothing occurred. He fucking rocks him, and nobody on that team did anything. And I think Wayno was out.
Yeah,
Simmons.
but like the play stopped, right?
Yeah, because somebody's like, I don't know what to do.
No,
Help
I
me.
know.
I'm going to
just
jump
saying,
on guy.
like, whatever. It was a modern day melee. Dude, there's been some amazing fights right now. Like Delorier, Alexiak, like Big Boy, like exchanging rights. Like
fucking Jamie Benn fought somebody there, went fucking throwing bombs.
He did.
There's emotion in the league, dude. The league.
Are we seeing more? Is it just me? Or like
right
we're seeing. I feel like we're seeing more good fights.
Yeah, there's some bad boys.
Like it's not just the 2-second like fall down.
Like I'm not even thinking of Reaver. I'm like talking about like other dudes that are going fucking trading punches.
Who do you like watching the most fight right now? Delorier?
Yeah, Delorier is my guy. And I love these old school big fucking defensemen like Zadorov, like fucking Manson, like Alexiak, the dude from Vegas.
I'll give you another one, dude. Luke Shen, dude.
Lukey Shen, and the dude from the Rangers who's murdering guys that knocked out Nathan McKinnon. Not that I want to see Nathan McKinnon knocked out, but I just want to see big hits. I want to see emotion. I want to see guys. I'll give you an example. The Blues just shit kicked Chicago. Chicago is just so fucked up as a whole right now. It's so weird when you're
everywhere.
When you're on cloud nine, when you're on cloud nine for 7-8 years straight, which you're the best of the best, the biggest dicks going. Sometimes you have to crash and fall.
You do,
and that's exactly where they're at right now. But the point is, the Blues played them the other night, beat the fuck out of them, and there just wasn't one guy that was mad. Like not one guy
on Chicago.
Not one guy. Not one guy.
But it was an entertaining game. It actually had a little bit of hitting, especially in the first period, whatever. Like the Blues were kind of running around, like hitting a little bit.
I don't know. Yeah.
Like barbershop. Like I said,
Barbie hit. No. Barbie hit guy. I'm not talking about the Blues.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Chicago.
Yeah.
Chicago got killed. And like back in the day, I don't mean back that, but it's just like no emotion. But if that would have happened in Calgary, they would have fucked you up. If that would have happened in Nashville, I
don't know, man. The Blues, they beat Calgary at home 5-1 like a week or two ago. Calgary just beat them, and Calgary had played the night before and whatever.
Exactly. So I take that in different, and maybe I'm wrong on this, but I just think I'm just like nothing's happening.
Listen. Here's the deal with Calgary. If you want to turn the temperature up for that particular game,
they'll get you.
They'll play that game with you.
And Luchik's still doing his thing. They got a big tough fourth line. They got some big boys in that. They got that Gabranson kid. They're just loaded, dude. They're tough. They're big. They got skill. They got young kids that could skill. They
got Richie, man. They got a bunch of guys, dude.
And they got Gaudreau's having a great year. I don't know. Matthew Tkachuk will smack you.
Matthew Tkachuk's having a great game, a great season, and he's toned it down too a little bit. Like he doesn't get involved in all this shit anymore.
He doesn't need to.
He's like, I don't have to do that. I did that. People know that I'm capable of being unpredictable if I need to be.
Who the fuck did he rock the other night? No one even looked at him.
He's a great hitter.
He's really good. He hits with his ass too when he comes in on a forecheck.
He does,
which is kind of a skill set.
Big Walt used to do that too.
I know he did. And then he fucking rocks the guy. And he's like, "What motherfucks?
What are you gonna do?
What the fuck are you gonna do?" And then fucking Lucci and the fucking big boys behind, like, "What are you gonna do, little bitch boy?" And I'll do it again. And then they score a couple on you.
I know.
I like them.
Oh, they're good, man. They're good.
Hey, the Blues better win games because they're in a fucking. They're
no, they
13
are.
games.
They
they're
got
13 games over 500, and they're still in a wild card spot. I'm just saying.
If they can find themselves in that 2-3 spot, then they'll be in good shape. You know, like if they can play like a Minnesota. I'm not saying it's a guarantee. I'm saying, but if they can get a matchup against like a Minnesota or a Nashville.
Minnesota's big and tough too.
But it's a more favorable matchup than having to play like a Colorado or Vegas.
Hey, you know what's good about just like hockey as a whole right now? It's like the big tough teams are good.
Well, I've always said this, Cam. You've heard me say this. If I was putting together a team, I would have toughness on my team. Because the way the game is played today, you can intimidate and bully yourself to victory.
I hate to use the word because we stick up for bullies.
Yes, we do.
Or no,
we fight the ugly.
We stick up for guys getting bullied.
That's right. We're anti-bullying.
I should kick the bullies, but you could bully your fucking
Raven Whitlock.
Raven Whitlock. He pissed on my fucking ass.
He did.
My daddy's like, "Oh, what? Oh, what did he do?" I got 10 games for that mug. No, 5 games.
Yeah.
Anywho, the point is, these big tough teams, man, that got some skill. The skill boys are like, I could do what I want, and I'm going to do what I want. And what are you going to do? Matthew Tkachuk's like, I could stand here, put this puck between my legs, fucking go top shelf with it, stand in front of that, like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
You got bad boys right there that could play. Man, I don't know. I love it, dude.
Yeah.
It's changing a little bit.
Yeah.
I kind of like it.
Oh, I like it too.
Tommy Wilson's kicking ass still. Shit, dude.
Oh, can I give him a shout out real quick?
So cool, man.
And I sent you a little screenshot.
I know.
You know, we were
love
texting
him.
the other day,
oh,
man.
Lord.
He is
sweetheart of a
maybe
man.
one, maybe you know we've got we've got a lot of favorites. A lot of our guests are they're like our kids. You can't pick your favorite one. But once you come on the show, like you are our little like how do you explain it?
I don't know. You're going in a weird direction with it, Andy, but you're like part of our team. I'll say.
That's right.
You know?
That's right.
Like
That's right.
We love you.
So we will always like support you and defend you and whatever. Like when people try to take shots and Mike will or Tom Wilson for this guy to make the All-Star team. I just thought it was cool, man. For a guy like him with some of the shit that he's been through. The reputation, the suspensions, whatever. For him to get acknowledged for being a damn good hockey player, too, I thought was cool.
As he should. And let me give you another shout out. And I know Brad Marchand, those stupid ass things, and punching a goalie in the back. You don't need to do that. And then cross check. It wasn't that big of a deal. 6 games is a lot, dude. That kind of hurts him a little bit. Mm-hmm. But Brad Marchand's good for the game, man. And in order to shut him up, like fucking hit him or shut him down. You make him.
What do you think is 6 games for that?
That's a lot for that.
It's all about history.
Yeah, no, I know.
It's all about who he is.
And I don't mind it. I'm just like, yeah, it's 6 games. Like, oh, okay.
I'll tell you what. I think the stick to the face
he got whacked too.
Worse than the punch to the side of the head.
How about somebody beat the fuck out of him? Like, just
somebody
do it. Just
that.
Like ragdoll him there.
Like when
he punches your goalie.
Like he's not
him.
letting Sidney Crosby get to the bench, and I know they're boys and whatever.
Fucking hit him.
But then somebody on the team should say, okay, you don't do that. You ain't Sid.
Oh, I'm getting in front of you now,
right?
And then I'm just making it. Maybe it's theatrical, but I don't care.
So I think that's where the league really reacted, right? Because the linesman had him, and then he sticks his stick in. It wasn't close to injuring him, but he used his stick when the linesman had him. Like in that case, Cam, as you know, you've been in that situation a million times before. You kind of got to like tone it down a little bit once they get you, right?
Yeah, you do. And you got to respect that. But on the other hand, he doesn't. And he has all the right to do what the fuck he wants. And he'll take that and he'll eat that 6-game suspension. But like if you want to counter that, just hit the motherfucker.
450 Gs he loses.
Just hit the motherfucker.
Right.
Like a ragdoll him. Like if a guy punches your goalie, that's such a green light to grab him and motherfuck him up so bad. And then you're like,
now punched him in the side of the head.
It's even now.
I know.
There's ways to counter it, man. And he just walks over everybody, and he's just a little guy. Fucking catch him with his head down,
It's going to appeal.
Subban did that a long time
See what
ago.
happens with the appeal.
So anyway.
I don't know. Anyway, hope you enjoyed Randy Carlyle on this edition. Some great episodes coming up, too.
Yep. We're entertaining the fuck out of all you. I get all the messages, guys. I see it all, man. You guys are so awesome, guys and girls, by the way, because that's what
everybody,
hot women,
everybody,
the good-looking women listen to us. It's very weird.
We don't, well,
it's not because we're
figure it out.
Well,
I look like shit. Tim, figure it out.
I got a bald spot, but I think they like that. We
like
self-deprecating or something
of all types. Everybody, no matter where you're from.
Yeah, just don't piss us off, or at least me. And I know we chirped Ace a little bit.
Ace.
We'll get his ass on, for one.
You want Ace on?
Yeah, I do. I want to get to the bottom of this because maybe there's more to it, and I don't want to fucking bash the guy.
Yeah.
But on the other hand,
it's all about learning and understanding where people are coming from.
If there's not more to it, then it's like, go fuck yourself. Mm-hmm. Because it's like, you're going to call this guy out for that. I'm like, that is so
on national television.
And then, like,
when the greatest player in the history of the game is like, let's talk about the Calgary goaltending.
Or talk about something real that happened to you. I don't care. If you want to fucking say that somebody called you something on the way up here,
call his ass out.
Let's go. But this,
because he said you don't listen.
And you sounded, I don't know. You sounded kind of goofy, dude. You're just like, and talking to yourself for fucking 5 minutes. And the guys are like, well, we're moving on.
Right talk. Like,
trust me.
Talks like,
and those producers,
right.
And those producers up there, they're probably wanting something socially, whatever.
Yeah.
And so they're waiting for it. But I don't think that was one of it.
No.
That wasn't a category that you could be like, oh, I'm standing
And listen,
behind
let me just say that this is the difference between TNT basketball and the TNT hockey show. Because TNT basketball, they've got legendary people up on the set, too. But you know what they do?
They're so funny, man.
They break shit down.
They're so funny.
They give their opinion, and they can hit social issues and stuff like that where...
They're never victims.
No.
They're never victims.
No. But you know
None
what?
Of them.
They also break it down.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of giggling and stuff going on, which is fine. A lot of laughing. I don't know if people at home are laughing. I don't know if people at home are laughing or not, but there's a lot of laughing going on.
Well, at least there's more laughing than Hockey Night in Canada, which is all serious.
What are they doing?
Oh, fuck. People are complaining about that. And we like Ronnie McLean and all this shit. Now, we love Kevin BX and all that.
Oh, yeah.
But they're too much on one side to where it's like, can we just... How about you break something down that's positive?
Just talk hockey.
It's all negative shit that goes down. Like, they reach for negative shit, and they're like, oh, this isn't... We're like, okay, we know...
No, it's like if something negative happens, it's like, oh, we can do good. We'll focus on that.
And I'm telling you, these hardcore motherfuckers up in Canada are like, I don't want to hear that shit.
No, they don't.
They're like, I'm busting my ass. I get home... I fucking
they want to watch.
I just drove a truck for
it's
19
in their
hours.
Blood, dude. That's what they do.
I want to watch Saturday Night Hockey Night in Canada. I want you to entertain me and be happy and not let me think about the shit I just went through. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Well, no, some stuff is important to talk about.
I get that.
I think you can really move things. Move the ball down the field.
But when you reach for it, though,
and there can be a lot of positive to come out of that. But if you're forcing the issue,
I know, man,
and if it's really people that are up there that really cannot, it's not like their forte or like they're really good at, like discussing these type of topics. Like it makes it uncomfortable for the viewer, right? And you just got to be careful with that.
Like we all know, we see it. We see it in St. Louis, man. We see the hardcore shit.
Hell yeah, man.
Fucking A.
Cam and Strick podcast is always brought to you by Hair Club, Cam.
Yeah. Man, that bald spot, it ain't good. It kind of makes me like nerve-wracked a little bit.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. Confidence-wise?
Yeah.
Where's your confidence right now? Scale of like 1 to 5.
Oh, shit. Well, as far as like what I have, as far as like material,
like if you walked in and walked into a bar or something.
I'm pretty fucking confident. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. But if I have to do like a speech and the camera's on the back of my head, I'm like, fuck, that sucks, because somebody's gonna take a picture of it and be like, oh, okay.
What'd you think of the UFC this past weekend?
Shit kicker. Hey man, at Israel,
I was breaking that down with Otter the other day too. So
they were chanting Joe Rogan's name pretty hardcore.
Were they?
Yeah, and Israel...
Is he still taking a lot of heat and everything?
Yeah, he could do what he wants, man. He doesn't care. He took the night off, and all the...
Oh, he didn't do the game, the match.
And then
who filled in?
I don't know. It doesn't matter. They just had
I could have filled in for that.
So anyway, some of the guys, like Israel, that one kept his championship, but he...
Israel?
Is... Badass guy. I think he's from fucking New Zealand. Who he's chirping the fucking prime minister or whatever you want to call it over there because there's such lockdowns and shit. They're hard. They're like fucking Australia.
It's hardcore. I'm surprised he got out of there.
He did, and they didn't have any. They don't even pump him up over there. They don't even talk. He's like fuck them. He's like fuck New Zealand. And so anyway, he won and he stuck up for Joe Rogan as he should. He's like, I'm an African American. Joe Rogan's the nicest, most humble, fucking coolest guy I've ever met in my life. All you
Have you met him?
This is what Israel's saying.
Oh, he said
yes.
that.
And and he's talking about Joe Rogan. He goes, he's the most humble. He goes, all you fucks, you're all fucking noise. And he chirped everybody about Joe Rogan.
This guy from New Zealand.
Yeah.
Well, I've got it recorded. I'll have to go back and watch that. The Blues played on Saturday. It's just tough for me to really get into the UFC. I break it down. People know that in the past.
You don't know
After a big fight, I will break it down.
Tell me about somebody's birthday or their draft status from 2003.
Okay. Hair Club. Go to hairclub.com/Cam and Strick. That's our landing page. Schedule your appointment, your consultation. From there, you're going to get $250 off, baby. So we love that.
Yep.
Hairclub.com. We love our relationship with our title sponsor, the one and only Hair Club. Again, 800-279-7878. Mango, baby. Get that Cam and Strick. Mango lemonade available in all major retailers. I know it's local. If you're not local, I apologize. I wish we could send it to you, man. I'd do anything to get it to you. Just wait. It'll be there. It'll be there before you know it. Of course, our friends over there at the BBB, man. We love our friends with the Better Business Bureau. Do you know that the BBB was founded over 100 years ago by ethical businesses seeking voluntary self-regulation without the need for government regulation?
Funny how that works.
And how it works.
How about a couple of hundred years ago before that, what they did?
I know.
Like
Then what do you
John
do?
Adams.
314-645-3300, baby. Or go to bbb.org. Listen, do you know that just in 2020, I'll go back a little bit of time, they received over 215 million consumer inquiries on the BBB business profiles, dude. Damn. That is a lot.
Damn, Andy.
That is an awful lot.
Yeah, man.
So if you're running your business and you're being shady, Don't think you can hide it because you won't, because we'll find out.
We'll fucking get you. Don't be shady when I go to your hotel
shady.
in like the middle of Pennsylvania.
No.
Like I need to know I'm gonna get I'm not gonna get bed bugs and shit.
That's
you know?
exactly right. That's exactly
right. Dude. Bed bugs will fuck you up.
Oh yeah.
That's in New York a lot.
Yeah. Bellman.com, baby.
I need a shit kicker.
Do you?
The people are chirping me too, by the way. My keep my DMs open. They're like, Cameron, when you got that 1500 fucking, I'm like, I know. I need a 2500. I want that fucking heavy duty. I want that fucking diesel. And I want to be a shit kicker because I'm getting a side-by-side too, and I want to take that motherfucker and go cruise around. Not with you.
Thought about that.
Not with you.
Dude.
Because I'm not inviting you on trips like that
Why?
because I don't trust you to, like, if shit goes down, I'm not going to be like, Andy, I need you. Let's get this. You get that point. I get this point. Let's go. Get your gun ready. We got shit going down.
No,
you're a pussy. You don't know. You're going to be like, help. God, help. We're the children. Give them the children. And I'm like, no, we got to save the children, Andy.
Children, save us.
Ty, save us. Where's my wife? She'll help.
She'll save me.
No, I ain't playing that fucking game.
Save me, Ty.
I need real men. I need to fucking know what's going on.
I'm going on that side-by-side.
I'll take you on a side-by-side trip, but I'm not like, going to like dangerous areas.
You get that side-by-side and we'll talk about it.
I will.
Bellman, though. They got the Buick GMC, the Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. They've got something for everybody, dude, on the other side of the street in Troy, Missouri. Get it today. Cam's looking at a Buick Enclave.
Danny knows
frosted white. They've got the captain seats. I like that Jeep Wrangler. I also want a Denali. I want a Denali. I'm looking for a Denali, too.
You like the Jeep? Were you in high school?
Dude, it doesn't matter. You don't even know what it's like, dude. You don't know what it's like, dude, with Bellman. You don't know what it's like with the Jeeps.
Are you in high school?
It's like driving us. They've changed, dude. They've changed drastically.
Oh, yeah. The
How
Cherokees
smooth
are cool.
the ride is.
If you have a Jeep Wrangler, that's what you get your kid when they're in high school a little bit.
Oh yeah, you can do that. It's for anybody.
I'm just letting you know.
It's for all.
So Andy,
people.
you're like, I'm gonna get a Jeep. I'm just like,
it's for all types of people. Bellman, the best customer service you'll find anywhere. Say hi to Kenny. Say hi to Danny Boy, and say hi to Dale.
What up?
Because these guys are the absolute best, and we love our friends over there with Bellman and Bellman.com, where you don't get any what.
Swinging fucking dicks, like down in Scottsdale, Arizona with the waste management. Everybody's like, Cam, let's go down to Scottsdale and go to the waste management. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's check this mug out. And I look at it, swinging dicks out the fucking wazoo. Everywhere you look, there's a swinging dick.
Can I ask
smacking you in
at
the
like
fucking
other
forehead.
golf tournaments, do you normally see like
I ain't going to any golf tournaments.
A lot more diversity?
Look, I like to go like where like at least it's like 60-40. This is like 98 to 2% men swinging dick.
You like at least 75-25.
Like, even if I'm bringing my wife, like I don't want to hang out with my wife with a bunch of drunks swinging dicks. Like, I shot a 30. Like, no one gives a fuck. Get out of my face. Bunch of fucking dudes. It's like a nightmare.
God.
Andy, I don't like to go places with the fucking
very emotional.
98% dudes swinging their dick around, flirting with your broad.
I know what you can have.
You probably like that.
I know what you can have in your. I know what you can have in your pocket.
What, a gun?
If you get that urge, you have a little Lucy Goods, baby.
Oh, Jesus.
Lucy.co.
Good God. Am I going to kill him? Maybe I would kill him.
Cam.
Nightmare.
You know we're all adults. You know that, right?
Excuse me?
I know some of us choose to use nicotine to relax, focus, or just unwind after a long day. Here's what Lucy is for people who need to know. Modern oral nicotine company that makes nicotine gum, lozenges, and pouches. Now, the pouches, dude, that's what you need. You need the gum. You kind of need all of it.
Andy, I need a lot of things.
You need all of it, but the pouches maybe will help you from your
terrible
habit that you have.
It's a bad one.
It's time to grow up and be. You got to get out of that.
Because usually children chew, so I need to get older.
Well,
and not
allegedly
chew.
You did at 12 years old.
I did.
So, I mean, maybe they do.
Fuck, man, I was a man.
Terrible role model.
Well, no shit. That's why I don't have children. I don't want to reproduce.
Is that
society?
You really? So if you had kids, you'd really have to change a lot of things, honestly. I mean,
I'd act like I didn't do shit and hide it from them. That's what I'm going to do. You think I'm going to change? Okay. So I don't have kids, man.
Can I give a warning? The product contains nicotine. Nicotine is a addictive chemical. I got to let people know that. I got to let people know that.
No shit, Andy.
So, listen, if you've had a battle with nicotine, it's time to move your life in a different direction. Spit out the chew, in with the new, get some Lucy.
I want my teeth to be white like yours. Well, I saw you. Hey, by the way, The fucking microphone that you use, it's too big for your head.
Oh, no, it's
You know what the fuck I'm talking about. Your teeth look white. Your suit looks fucking fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, you like the suit?
Suit looks, your hair looks fine. Your teeth, everything looks good.
Yeah.
But the microphone is so gigantic compared to your head.
It's a TV mic, yeah.
Yeah, but it looks bigger in your head. You need a smaller mic. Why do they give you big mics?
It's the same size that everybody else gets.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
I measure.
Because I have...
You got the big boy mic. It
is.
looks bigger than your head. And sometimes when you have it next to you, I'm like, which one's your head? Which one's the mic?
No, there's a reason for it. It's called an RF mic because the camera...
It's called gigantic.
Yeah.
So fix that. I'll write an email.
Okay.
Because Kate and I are both like, I can't see your teeth.
Oh,
Your teeth
it's
are
covered.
white.
Maybe I'll hold it
Dude,
lower.
Hold it low. You put it in your fucking head, and it's like I can't see your fucking face. It's like putting a mask on.
No mask.
No, I know. That was good. I got to see your smile. I know it sounds corny.
Yeah.
You got to see your emotion.
And you like the suit, though. You like the
suit
suit.
looks fucking good, dude. You look good. You always look good. Well, you always look sharp. But sometimes your mic's too big.
But now the mic is covering...
Your mic is Sandy. Your head's not that big. Like, it just looks... Anyway, you did good. Okay. You always do good. Yeah, you never mess up.
Appreciate that.
I try to find... And Kate's like, don't you ever send him anything.
Oh, you try to?
Well, no, because I wouldn't do that. You will do that to me.
Yeah,
I will never fuck you over because I know you'll get sensitive. Yeah. But I go, Kate, why is that mic so... Kate, why is that mic so fucking... She's like, don't you text him. Don't let it go. Don't you... I go, I got to tell him.
Let it go.
She goes, let it go. I go, I'm going to fucking text him.
Yeah.
She goes, don't you do that. He's working. Don't do that. So I don't do it. Kate loves you, dude. Just so you know.
Dude, she's the best.
Just so you know.
Love Kate. Listen, I'm like, she you know
There's
why
some
she
people I
loves
work
me.
with she doesn't like. There's some people I used to work with she doesn't like.
Yeah.
And there's not many.
She loves you. She loves me
because
I'm good and I'm good for you.
You're really good for me.
That's why she
You're
loves
really
you.
good for me.
Loves
no,
me.
but she trusts you.
Oh yeah.
100%.
That's what it's
But
all
your
about.
mic's too fucking big.
Well, we got to do something about that. All right, so that was Randy Carlyle.
Yep.
And listen, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope everybody out there enjoyed it.
I got nervous before we did this, by the way.
Well, you get nervous. Listen, because here's the problem. Cam's always given 100%, but recently I feel like because of everything you have going on, you're only capable of, like, your 100% right now is 92%.
As far as what?
Well, as far as preparing for these, you don't have time during the daytime before the interview.
Hey, dick fuck.
Normally you'd have the whole morning.
No, hey, dick fuck.
Normally you'd have the whole morning.
No.
Now you don't have that.
Motherfucker, I do all my shit before.
The day before?
Look at my notes I got done for the show. I have all of it down. I'll show you my... Don't fuck with me. I do it on a Sunday, and I take notes down with my computer all day long. Look at this.
Well, somebody we had on
Look at all
recently,
my
remember
notes.
you
Look
were
at
like,
this.
dude, I don't have much.
Because
I didn't
there's
have
nothing
time.
much. There's nothing much on him.
Listen,
I'm like
happy
scrambling
Valentine's Day to Kate. And
Stupid
dude,
ass
go
holiday.
get her something.
Man,
No, get her something. And get Ty something, too, for losing a tooth.
why do I have to do that?
Give me a couple bucks or something to give him, like, under his
cheap
pillow. Or something.
motherfucker.
I already gave him
Cheap
some
ass
money. I mean, you should,
motherfucker.
like... Dude, you should give him something for losing a tooth.
Kate and I just chill. We're going to watch the deer cruise in
We
our
almost
backyard.
came
I'm
over
gonna
for
put
the
up-
Super Bowl last night.
I didn't invite you.
I know. We almost did, though. I said,
Well, you can come over anytime you want. Just don't bring the kids because it might smell funky in the house.
Because we actually, actually had
I don't go outside
something
anymore.
going on late in the afternoon. They got
Oh,
canceled.
good for you.
So I thought, we didn't make Super Bowl plans because we would have had to, like, I would have gotten home like 20 minutes before the game started. It just would have been too hard to do. So I said, you know what? Now it got canceled. I said, maybe we'll go out to Cam's house.
You can come over, homie.
No, we almost
Bring your broad.
Yeah.
I just
Hey, my what?
bring your girl.
Okay, is broad a bad word?
Oh, yeah, say
or-
that again.
Yeah, is that a-
Yeah, not really.
Is it
It's
a bad
fine.
word? Like, what's a broad even really?
It's your broad.
What does it mean?
It's your girl. It's your girl.
What does broad mean?
A girl. It means a girl.
Oh,
So bring your girl and
the kids too.
No, you can't.
No,
do
to the Super Bowl party, I was bringing the kids.
Okay, but you can't bring them to my house.
And the
It
dog.
This doesn't make sense.
And Blay.
If you fucking do that, you're a goddamn Hoosier. Don't you?
Dude, no,
fucking-
I will bring
And,
Blay
hey, all
out
y'all
there.
out there, if you bring your dog and your kids and the people that you're going down to their lake house or something, if they don't know that you're bringing your dog and your kids, you're a fucking idiot. And if you bring your kids, that's fine, but they need to know. And if you bring your dog and your kids, that's kind of gutless.
No,
anyway.
I'm bringing
Put
the,
your fucking no. Put your wallet down, you cheap fucks, and put your dog in a goddamn kennel, and then go down there and enjoy it.
No.
You don't bring your dog down
No.
to somebody's lake house, you
No.
cheap fuck. You fucking put the dog in a goddamn kennel, and that's it.
Dude,
you don't do that. Dude,
Dogs
that's gutless.
need to swim in lakes and do stuff like
Not
that.
in my lake. Not on my time. No. I got my dogs. My dogs are there.
Oh, your
I don't
dogs
need your
are there.
stupid fuck
But
dog.
I can't bring my
your
dog?
undisciplined fuck dog that shits all over the fuck place.
Blaine doesn't do that.
Blaine ain't coming down.
Blaine
my
never
lake house.
does that.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah,
That's what
well,
Hoosiers
I was going to
do.
bring him
That's what
to I was
fucking
going to bring him
Hoosiers
to
do.
Franklin County yesterday.
Nah, I don't give a fuck.
So
I'm
we'll
not
do it
gonna
next
let him in.
weekend. Maybe I'll come out next weekend with the kids and the dog. Maybe next weekend. Okay.
I'll give you my address.
We'll do a video out there, kids, and I'm going to video like when we just show up. Okay, kids.
I don't go to parties with kids.
Dog.
I don't go to parties.
My
with
wife.
Kids.
We're going to Cam's house next weekend.
Doesn't work
this
that
is
way.
going to be a fun
My
one.
house is like
I'll let you
Satan's
know
house.
how it goes, everybody. Thanks for listening to the Cam and Strick podcast, baby.